Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Octane Online Racing. We are at Spa for round 8, the final round of the ACC Simrigs Sprint Series, season 18. And for those that don't know, you can sign up for the Patreon for as little as $5 a month. Patreons get a 5% discount store-wide over at simrigs.com. I'm Jaden Rondinella, and I'm joined by George Cook this evening. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Yeah, doing very good. And glad to be back at Split Blue to hopefully have not cursed this split for once in my entire career here at OOR. But I think it's going to be a really good race. 90 minutes at Spa today with a 12-minute qualifying session. So not a lot of time to qualify. And then 90 minutes of racing. And there's been talk of no stops. There's been talk of one stops because there's no mandatory stops required in this race. And what a way to finish off the season.
Is looking like it is going to be interesting, and I believe for the track today we have a hot track out here at Spa, which will be interesting for those tyres, especially doing the long stints. And we are going to see some cars coming up here. Look out for the Ferraris, likely a death situation as they drive up this crazy part of the track of the Eau Rouge.
Oh yeah, I love it. And this is literally, thank you, Ben. This is our Ferrari disaster camera right here. This is what we're looking at. Every time you see a Ferrari here, just pray for them. And maybe, prayers and thoughts, I think, to those going up through this part of the sector. But what a beautiful part of the track to have a camera view from. So thank you, Ben, for that. Yeah, 36 degrees Celsius, man. That is very, very hot. Optimum track conditions, of course, 28 degrees Celsius ambient. And almost no wind here at Stavelot, Belgium. That's going to create pretty much optimum conditions for qualifying. But for those no stopping, hot temperatures, not good news.
Not good news at all. And we won't be seeing many being able to pull off the no stop, I don't believe. A lot of these cars just don't have the capabilities. I know for a fact the Mercedes can do it, so it looks like we might see Ashlyn Reynolds give it a go, and maybe a couple others. But if it works, it works, and we guess that's something that we will find out later on. There is some people that will be looking at tonight for the standings, which does look like we have a battle for the second position between Joshua Holmes and Breno Alice, as Austin McNeil has, in race points, pretty much taken the win.
Yeah. So he is on 760 net points. Next competitor, Joshua Holmes, 645. That means Austin McNeil would have to DNF this round. And by all accounts, probably not going to happen. So Austin McNeil looking to seal out the season for himself in Split Blue. Joshua Holmes and Breno Ellis going to be a match to watch between those two. Keep an eye out as well in the silver category, because that is a red-hot battle for the silver title in Split Blue. Logan Burton and Shane Lele are going at it. 453 points and 445 points, so there's nothing in it whatsoever. That's going to be an absolutely key one to keep an eye on. There's Logan Burton on your screen right now in the Ford, just set a 2:18.1. Not the best qualifying time. He'll need a little bit better than that. And Lele in P4 already with a fantastic lap on the board, a 17.9. Let's have a little look. Down the hill we go, and then back on up, looking stable as anything in that Aston Martin. Yeah, that's a stark difference to what we're going to see in Ferraris when we go for an onboard with one of them.
So, we've just found out that Austin is not racing tonight, which does mean the standings could come out in favour of Josh Holmes or even Breno Ellis.
Could do. Do we have a drop round still to calculate, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, that might account for it. Well, good luck from the chat room there, Austin. Hopefully you might be able to find your way up into the lower categories of racing there, but that's going to make things interesting with the points. I don't know if we've got all the data we need to calculate the final points. Those will be available, of course, on results.octaneonlineracing.com.au. But I guess for everyone else, good luck. Austin's not racing today. Go for it. You might be on for a bit of a win here. Looking at Holmes, looking at Ellis. Maybe Ashlyn Reynolds in that Mercedes could be an interesting one. We shall see. Apologies for the red screen that has just come up and blinded absolutely everyone. We can thank you to Benjamin Hignett for that beautiful, beautiful display right there. But yeah, Lele, great lap. Really, really good. Another note as well, Josh McLaughlin in Pro-Am looks to have sealed things up for the most part. Next competitor for Pro-Am in P2 is Wilk Apreciado. There we go, race control message giving us the information we need. Just a little bit of a troll Love to see it. Then Ben Curtis in P3 for Pro-Am. A little bit of a battle going on between those two, Appreciado and Curtis, but not sure if anything's going to come of it. We'll keep an eye. And then, of course, Joe Williams in AM class. 149 points to his name, all 7 races completed, and looks to be sealing AM class today.
And that's pretty well done. And that's a fastest lap by Matthew Lamb of 2:16.7. In these conditions, a 2:16 is, I'd say, pretty difficult to get. But we will be seeing a lot of people pushing for these faster times, especially Holmes, who's going to want to come out at least in second place for this race, because that could give him the win on the championship. But that would be up to if Alice decides to not let Holmes have it.
Yep, and it could come down to these last couple of laps. There's about 2 or 3 laps left for most of the competitors. 4 minutes 40 to go. Logan Burton, what a lap. Puts himself up ahead of Lele. So the silver class is really coming to show out at the moment. Really, really good to see. Logan Burton, he wants to start from that point. If he gets the position, any position above Lele, then he has absolutely secured this 100% and slots himself into P3. Hard to get a lap like that you're really, really satisfied with around here. 2:17s are a good lap time. Let's just be honest with that. I know that I'm not an alien, but if I got a 2:17, I'd be absolutely stoked, and I'd probably say, cool, I'm all good. Let's go on board with Matthew Lamb as he navigates through Pouin in the McLaren. Beautiful, beautiful entry there. Nice swing to the outside. He's up on his delta by 0.1 of a second. But here's the tricky section from McLaren, usually running low wing at a circuit like this. And you've just got to be so careful on the entry and the exit, especially putting the power down. You can see him modulating the throttle with much proficiency just to make sure that rear end does not step out. It's not an easy circuit in a McLaren, but McLarens are very, very quick around here.
And if you also look down in the bottom right, you can see that he plays with his TC, turning it off and changing it to different numbers for different sectors. That's just how to get the car to run most efficiently. I would be interested to see if he does that type of stuff during the race or if that's something he just leaves for qualifying. But it's what you get with some of the top tier drivers in OOR.
I can tell you from personal experience that mucking with the TC here at Spa and a McLaren is absolutely required. So you'll see him turn it off again as he heads towards Eau Rouge and Radeon. La Source will keep it on because the exit's usually a little bit lacking in grip depending on your line. The fastest lap, 2:16.557 for Matthew Lamb, going faster and faster and faster. Here's a really good lap for Logan Burton. He's going to extend the gap to Lele behind by a fair bit, actually. 2.5 tenths now back to his nearest silver competitor and ahead of our P3 runner in Holmes now. Jamie Conboy on for a lap. Let's have a little look. Up by 0.3 of a second. But I digress. As I was saying, the McLaren definitely modulating that TC. Very, very key. You have to be very brave to do it through Pouin and the Fagner's corners, but you do need to do it if you want to be fast through there.
Yeah, that does make sense. And I was interested to see how the Nissan would do here, and we can see that he's going to get a low 2:17, so he's on for a decent lap time in the disgusting Turkish Delight car. So that's not bad. Puts him up into second.
I was just yeah. It's the fact that the chocolate competition is, as far as I know, is over, but the livery was so good that he kept it on. I absolutely respect that 100%. Breno Ellis goes across the line. A second off the lap time right now, has yet to put in a really representative time for what this man is capable of. I think he's got the Permobile livery still on the Porsche, which is nice to see. Sitting a fair bit. There we go. It's the Logitech one, actually. Maybe it's got Permobile on the side. Maybe it does. Here's our Eau Rouge camera. I think there's a Permobile live sticker somewhere there. But Logitech G seems to be the predominant style on that. Quite like it. Like the colors at the very least. Here's a replay.
Oh, he's doing a little drift.
Oh,
yep, after
happy
a second.
Conboy. He's a happy man. He liked that lap time. It was a 2:17.255. It's definitely a good lap time. Everyone's still 7/10 though, Jaden, off of Matthew Lamb's time. 2:16.5. No one's approaching Matthew Lamb at the moment.
Yeah, he's done an outstanding lap, especially, as I said earlier, for these temps and in the McLaren as well. it's just a track that you need to pretty much ace just to get any of that lap time. That turn one is so important. If you mess that up, you could ruin pretty much your whole lap just off of that. And as we are seeing Alice do or 3/10 up, just around 3/10 up in the Porsche there. But yeah, Matthew Lamb is probably one of the best drivers that we have in OOR. And that's not to put anyone else down, but he is very, very quick. I am interested to see if Holmes is gonna. Holmes did not go out for another lap, so Holmes will be starting in 4th. That is our second place in the standings, who is currently trying to get to 1st, and it looks like Lele might have a chance of being in front of Holmes for the start. Oh, sorry, Alice might have a chance of being in front for the start. That's my...
Yeah. No, I think Ashan Lele has managed to get round for another lap. We're keeping an eye on Breno Ellis right now because he's found 0.6 of seconds of that. Last couple of sectors for him in previous laps has not been nearly as good as this. He comes around the last couple of corners through the bus stop chicane, holding 0.7 here. This is a really good lap. It's going to be good enough for P2. And someone does it. Someone else has done it. Into the 216s go Breno Ellis, a 216.925. Excellent work there with Convoy in the pits, Burton in the pits. Holmes in the pits. Holmes, a bit of a surprise to see in P5. That is a McLaren. Very much off the circuit, the 254 car. Now looking at Ishan Lele. What can Lele do in this Aston Martin? Well, we've got an Aston Martin driver in the commentary box here. Jaden, take us through this lap here. Let's see what Lele can do.
Well, great thing about the Aston is you can pretty much just hold out the accelerator for most of the end of the turn and you will have full control. So Lele will probably be wanting to hold it quite tight because this car does not like the initial turning just as much as some of the others, but that drive out there is, once you get that placement on, it's great. So he'll be taking this corner at full speed, trying to keep it in the lines, because if you take just slightly the wrong line, you'll be sent off right into space, which is not great for your qualifying lap or a race lap either. But on the table, it's currently still holding it very close to the time that he had in the last previous laps. As we enter the final 2 thirds of the track, with gaining a 10. Nope, not gaining that 10. As you can see, it does not handle coming out of that chicane too well, which does not gain him really much time out of that.
Yeah, there was a bit of counter steer on the exit there. Couldn't get the power down at all, really. Here's Stratford, AM class coming across the line. Good improvement to the time, up to P17 for the Nestle wrapped style Lamborghini. I was asking Mia, actually, a while back, why the Lamborghini drivers love such flamboyant liveries. And I think her answer was just that they're all just so cool, which I'm not sure about that answer, but that's apparently the reason. Anyway, I digress once again. That's qualifying.
We do have an update on the standing situation. So we've been informed that Austin will get 0 for tonight, but he will get his current drop round of 65 points added back in. So Josh has to win to take it away from Austin. So if Josh doesn't win tonight, it is Austin McNeil's race. Season.
That is huge, considering Holmes did qualify in P5 today. So he has got a bit of work to do, and he'll probably be really hoping that Lamb and Ellis have a bit of a nightmare at the start of this race, which, you know, as we know, it's Spa. Anything can happen in the first lap, and I think we've just been told that maybe that's
wrong.
Not quite correct. Okay, well, I guess we'll be updated with the right facts at some point. We don't have the mental bandwidth in the commentary box to figure this all out.
We will figure it out eventually.
Eventually we'll have an answer for you, but I'm pretty sure the drop round will mean that he is pretty solidly in the lead of this championship by the end of this race. So I think that's correct information. We'll stick with that for now until we're told otherwise. Look at this grid, by the way. Wonderful colors out there on the grid for Split Blue, as it has been all season long. Jaden, you've seen most of them. Any new ones you've spotted today?
Oh, look, my brain's not that good. I'm trying to... Have we seen that one on the right there before, the Ferrari there? I'm not 100% sure we've seen that one yet.
I think that's been there. I think that is Neil Wood. Yeah, I think he's
okay.
the Fluoro Ferrari. Going to have a lot of fun today. I was trying to think of a pun, but I couldn't think of one quick enough, and that's the end of the grid right there. Looking forward to 90 minutes at Spa. We're going to get into it in a few moments' time. We've got the formation lap to go through, of course. Key things to look out for: Logan Burton ahead of Lele, so P4 and P6. That's the battle for the Silver Championship. Keep an eye on that battle. They do have McKellar and Monks in the mix in P7 and P8, so maybe mix things up. Lele has got to keep up with Holmes and maybe split away with the top 6 today. It's going to be absolutely key. Will there be anyone who's going to challenge Matthew Lamb out there in the front with a McLaren? We've just had a comment in chat as well from Name saying, another McLaren win, please, to make it 3 out of 3 splits. I agree 100%. As a McLaren fan, I'm not biased. We're just correct.
I think if anybody's going to challenge Lamb, it'll be Alice with the gaps he's been creating out the front in the recent races. So if Alice is able to provide some good content up front with Lamb, that'd be great.
I couldn't agree more, yeah. And I think another person not to count out is Jamie Conboy. He is very, very quick. He knows Spa so well. Of course, traditionally a McLaren driver himself. He's in the Ford now. Ford, McLaren, there's probably some history there somewhere, but at the moment he's in the Ford, and I think he might have a...
Nissan.
Is it the Nissan? He isn't.
He's in the Nissan.
Oh, he is in the Nissan. It's Burton in the Ford. My fault. Yeah. My fault. Thank you for the correction. He's in the Nissan. What a mistake. Fallen from grace.
Close. They don't look the same. I'm sorry, I can't give that to you.
No, you can't at all. No, I've rapidly dug a hole on that one. But nonetheless, Jamie Conboy not one to count out today. He's quick around here. He's super familiar with this Nissan now, and he has a chance of maybe mixing up the top order with Matthew Lamb and Breno Ellis. I think he's got a couple of things to think about with Burton behind, because Burton's been showing some great pace as well.
Yeah, 100%. We've had increased pace, especially from some people that we haven't seen in the series before. Just a few rounds ago, we had Nathan Monks appear out of nowhere and take a win at Paul Ricard, I believe it was, which was an incredible race by him. So I'll be keeping an eye on him to see how well he does tonight. And there's a few others out there. Ashton Reynolds starting from the back, who I believe is the person who is going for the no stop. So that will be a fun one to watch, coming from the back. So I'm just interested in seeing how the race plays out, in all honesty. There's a lot of good drivers out here tonight, and it's looking like incredible racing is going to be at play if the tyres don't die on lap 5.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. It is a bit of tire management today. Temperatures out there right now, 34 degrees Celsius on track, 27 ambient, so not much different to qualifying. And for those who are using the qualifying setup, they're probably going to be finding themselves burning through tyres at a rapid rate. So I think, yeah, at the beginning of the race, it's going to be about tire management, trying not to lose too many positions, holding up opponents. Going to be a bit of strategy in the first 30 minutes. That is for sure for those trying for the stop. Maybe an early stop to get yourself into a bit of clean air could be a sensible idea, or hold it with the pack. Try and undercut someone in the pits, maybe even overcut if you find yourself with good pace. Lots of options at Spa, as always, and with a 90-minute race, it really does open things up, which is great. We've got some more information here, Jaden, from Glenn. Should we get someone to double check it before we talk about it? We got caught out last time.
Are we 100% sure this is right? I feel like it is. I'm gonna believe it, but I will reveal right now that Austin McNeil has won split blue clear, pretty much. Yeah, no matter what, unless some crazy math happens now. Austin has won split blue, so that is a congratulations to Austin McNeil, and now it is a battle for second place within the standings.
Oh, here we go. Love to see it. Cars go side by side, couple of stragglers at the end. Through the bus stop chicane we go, and Jaden, I think it's absolutely you who should be taking the start for this, because you've been here for 7 out of 8 rounds in split blue. I think this was your first more or less full season of commentary as well, and I'm sure the split blue guys and ladies and gentlemen in chat have appreciated your commentary insights as well. So over to you, mate. Take us away for the final round of season 18 with split blue.
And here we go. This is, yes, my first season, and I'm very happy to have done it. I will be back here hopefully for next season as we come around the final turn with Matt Lamb in the lead, with Breno Ellis following. It'll be a very interesting start as the drivers try to make up the space for the gaps. We've got a bit of a gap at the back, but they are coming around for the race start. And we're waiting. And they are going. Here they go into the Rouge with Matt Lamb keeping it clear. There is a little bit of too wide going on with a Ferrari and a Mustang a bit back. Breno Alice right up behind Matt Lamb, and Jamie Comboy not giving him too much space there. We've still got a little bit of side-by-side between that Ford and the Ferrari, just a little bit back, which I believe is Nathan Monk's in the. And that is side-by-side with Breno Alice and Matt Lamb. This is a great start so far. And it looks like Matt Lamb is back in front once again. It is going to be, it looks like a close race throughout, and I hope it stays that way.
Oh, what a sensible start, though. I mean, Matthew Lamb took the inside line into Les Coombs, defended nicely, made sure that he gave space on the inside to Breno Ellis, who was inevitably going to be there. And of course, once you defend on the inside line, it does rapidly become the inside line for turn 4, which of course, or turn 9, I suppose you call it, Malmedy. And yeah, Breno Ellis not able to get ahead of Matthew Lamb. He gets away nicely in the McLaren. Convoy also getting off to a good start. That said, Burton right on his rear wing. The top 6 really, really crunched up. That's a little bit deep from Convoy. Maybe Burton can take advantage. He'll have a better exit through the Fagnes chicane. It was Joshua Holmes at the start as well, trying a cheeky look up the inside. But unfortunately wasn't able to get that done on Burton, so maintains his P5 for the moment. Ashley Johnston is making up some positions. McKellar has fallen a couple of positions down at the moment. McLaughlin still leads Pro-Am. Joe Williams, Josh Williams, I think it is leading Am class as well. We are set for such a great battle. And this is a very, very fast couple of cars coming in towards the bus stop chicane. Will it be an overtake? Couple of wider lines through Blanchemont. Into the braking zone we go. It's a little bit of side-by-side action there. Nothing massive to report back to home.
Well, that is a great start for Split Blue, and we are still getting side-by-side. They will... Oh, that was a little bit close there. I think a bit close for comfort. Going side-by-side into the, technically, first turn of the track. And they are driving really, really well, and they're giving each other enough space. I think people are wanting to keep it a bit more clean, especially for this last race of the season, as this one is kind of the big one, the final round it being, and at Spa, which I know that is a huge cut by the Porsche. That was interesting line. That is exactly how I almost got my DT, which I didn't get because I am good.
You get a speed token. You get a speed token. Everyone gets a speed token. No one taking the line properly at Eau Rouge. That's Monks, though, getting back on Ashley Johnston. And I got mixed up. I thought it was Ashley Johnston who we thought had switched to a Mercedes. No, he's still in the Aston Martin. Now I'm less confused. Ashton Reynolds switching to the Mercedes and going long. He is still in P22 and a few tenths off the back of Apreciado, who's not having the greatest time out there at the moment. But yeah, Monks, nice move back on Ashley Johnston. In behind them is McLaughlin. Lele actually holding on nicely to the top 6 as well. But we'll keep an eye on this battle too. Very important for the standings there for McLaughlin. He needs to have a good, clean race today. Burton under a lot of pressure now. Joshua Holmes, someone who is going to be a fierce competitor when he is trying to overtake you. He's going to try around the outside of Fagner's corners. Not going to work because there's no grip out there whatsoever. Rightly so, pulls back in to the slipstream of the Ford ahead, and Burton will live to survive yet another corner here. He just needs to make sure that he is ahead of Lele at the end of this race. But as you can see, if Holmes gets him, that's going to be Lele right behind him. This is heating up as a great battle for silver. So we'll keep a very close eye on that as we continue. Fastest lap now to Matthew Lamb. No surprise there.
And yeah, no surprise at all. But I do want to still look at Breno Alice, who is still within 1 second of Matt Lamb, so not really giving him much space and still keeping that distance close. And that is a Mustang getting right up behind that Nissan GTR right there. That is very close racing. And as you said, Josh Holmes is going to be pushing very, very hard for that position because he is wanting to make up those spaces, and I'm going to guess he knows that he's on the line here for a championship win. So, sorry, not championship win, second place within a championship, and will be just trying to fight to get up there and make up that time that they're slowly losing to the current front runners of Matt Lamb and Breno Ellis.
Yeah, the news just keeps getting worse for Holmes at the moment. He can't get past Burton, who's driving incredibly well in the Ford, and now there is a 1.8 second gap between Comboy and Breno Ellis at the moment. So that means that the slipstream range is gone. So even if Holmes does manage to catch up, overtake these two, and get onto the rear of Breno Ellis, we're looking at a replay now of Eau Rouge and Radion. Let's have a little look. Is it going to be just a... Oh, one more! Okie dokie. A moment, please, for Joshua Holmes, because that was a scary, scary little bit of inertial drift there from the Lamborghini driver. Did really, really well to hold onto it. Crikey, when you're having moments like that, it is just one of those things. You know, dirty air through erosion radion, not fun. It never has been, never will be, and you always notice it. At times that you least expect it, you notice it the most.
I feel like this track is very bad for being in the dirty air behind another vehicle, because every time I was behind another car, I felt like I was probably going to go flying off the track. So I don't think there's really any great spots to really be sitting behind someone unless you are going for an overtake. And you do see Breno Ellis at the front there, drop back, and this is a little bit of a slide there, but everyone has kept it pretty clean, which has given Reynolds a few positions up into 19th from second last, I believe it was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, fair play there to the Aston Martin that backed right out of it. Ended up rather stuck instead of holding onto the accelerator. Here's a move, and that is a big, big move from Logan Burton into the braking zone at the bus stop chicane. He's massively compromised Jamie Comboy. He's lost the inside line now to Holmes, but what a move from Logan Burton, and he'll be stoked with that. There's now 2 cars between him and Lele. We're going to watch on board with Lele's dash cam view, and Holmes is going to get the position potentially from Comboy. Comboy's going to try and get a better run down Eau Rouge, up Radion and through the Kemmel Straight, and this might work out quite nicely for him. Nissan Power down the straight's been keeping him alive so far, but wow, that was a stunning send by Burton. He got it stopped nicely as well. Hats off.
Very, very much hats off. And Holmes obviously taking that opportunity to get past and using it very well. Lele's looking up the inside there as well as Holmes. It looks like both. Lele's just sent it. Oh, that is unfortunate situation. And
no.
That is a rejoin of the race right there.
Yeah. Okay, so Lele has got it all wrong at Liz Coombs and has taken out not only Burton, but also Holmes. Holmes has rejoined and has had a contact with Monks there, unfortunately. So it's really gone from bad to worse for all of those drivers. The positions right now, Burton looks to be now well back in the field. Holmes is down in P11. Burton's down in P16 right now. I don't know where Lele is in the field, but I think Lele is in P12 right now. That's going to be a big slap on the wrist. Replay coming here. Just too deep on the brakes. Tried to get out of it. Tried to do everything. But unfortunately, it was already too late at that point. And Jamie Comboy has gotten away scotch-free out of that one. Really, really unfortunate for many drivers there. And a big shake-up in the top 10.
As we see all of the positions changing around, which does put Josh Holmes quite a bit back out of the top 10 now. With Lele as well, out of the top 10. Here's a replay from inside of Jamie Comboy's car. Just Josh trying to avoid the Aston coming up on the inside and just had nowhere to go with the Mustang. And then that bump from the grass unsettling Holmes's car has just not put him on the right angle there. And as I am speaking, Lem is still setting fastest laps.
Yeah. 1 serving of clean air, please. Ordered ASAP. With maximum ice, and Jamie Comboy got the order delivered. Certainly did, because we had 3 cars in front of him, and then suddenly there were none. So yeah, Jamie Comboy definitely the big winner in all of that. He's now got Monks behind him, who was the one that Holmes came back on track and had a bit of contact with. We'll leave that, of course, for the stewards to figure out. Fakuri is another with a 10-second penalty. We take a little look at Dylan McDowell in this lovely Red Bull Porsche. That's nearly a track limit warning there through the top of Radion. Now in the slipstream of McKellar, and McDowell finds himself up a few places because 3 at the top, no longer in the top 10. Elevates a number of drivers. Oh, that's close.
So if Holmes is not able to make up positions and Alice has a really good race here, it looks like Holmes has lost his second place within the championship, which will then put Alice up into second. And if Ashton Reynolds is able to have a good race, which he's slowly now making his way up in the field, he's now 18th. So that's an incredible race already from Reynolds. And here we go, Ferrari cam.
Ferrari, let's go. Oh, it's happened immediately. Oh, we shouldn't laugh. We shouldn't laugh. But
I should not laugh at that.
I think Benjamin Hignett is chuckling rather a lot at the moment behind the broadcast box. We were all talking about this before. Ferrari's just so difficult through that sector. If you're not at full throttle, it'll kill you. If you're not at, if you're at full throttle, it'll kill you. There we go. Race control saying Ferrari bad. Yeah. It's just not a skill issue. It's the car. Trust us all. If you exist, it will kill you. There you go. Really unlucky there. One victim already. Eau Rouge and Radeon plus Ferrari, not a combination, kind of like putting shrimp in ice cream.
It's definitely not a good combo. It's definitely one of those parts where you either have to have it perfect or you have to pretty much be off of the throttle for a lot of the time, which is incredibly slow. So Ferrari and this track do not mix, but we are, if we do look over in our little leaderboard there, there's two AMs up in 14th and 16th. So that is so far a very good race from the amateur class.
Certainly is. Fakuri is one of those trying to hold them off. 10-second penalty to his name at the moment. Stratford maybe trying up the inside line into La Source. Can he get it done on the brakes? Does it nicely, holds off. McLeod on the outside nicely. Oh no, that is Burton, who's gone slightly into the rear. In La Source took a bit more speed than those around. Of course, Burton will have a little bit of red mist after what happened at Lacombe a lap ago, and he's faster than all of these cars around, so he's going to be a lot faster through the apexes, a lot faster into the corners, and he'll just have to manage that, especially when there's overtaking maneuvers. Speaking of overtaking, here we go again, and this time I think Stratford has well done it. By the way, Stratford up ahead of Williams. Williams is the leader of AM class, so this is going to be a good result for Stratford if he can bring it home. In the background, still some cars going side by side. That's Lewis. And he's gone on through, as we see Lele getting a drive-through penalty for causing a collision on lap 4. Steward's not happy about that at all. Will it be an inside dive into Malmedy? Yes, it'll rivage, I should say. It is. Bit of contact there between Lewis and Williams. And, oh, wow, the Ford just no traction on the exit whatsoever. They're all side by side here, can hardly keep up with it. It's brilliant racing.
Very brilliant. And we see that Josh Holmes has gone into the pit, I'm assuming to repair damage already. Logan Burton getting a 15-second for unsafe rejoin. I don't believe we saw Logan Burton's rejoin. But I wonder if Holmes is repairing damage right now, which is very likely for how long he has been in there.
Almost certainly, yeah. He took a hit up the right-hand side of the car. Then when he came back onto the rejoin, he got more damage there. Then I think he spun around and hit the barrier on the rear and the front as well. So that car's going to be undrivable at this point, and he needs to go in and get that repaired. Let's have another look at the incident. Oh, yeah. So I think Holmes saw it coming slightly, had to take avoiding action. Of course, there's suddenly a car there, Logan Burton. Let's keep an eye on Burton. He's the one on your screens right now. Does come on back onto track. That's Fakuri. Yeah, well, I mean, it didn't cause any contact there, but it was... Oh. Okay, well, he's
probably
scared...
unsafe still.
He's scared the living daylights out of a couple of drivers as he's tried to rejoin the track at 2 parts. So probably is a deserved penalty there for unsafe rejoin.
And Lele is now serving their drive-through at the moment, which will take a few minutes.
I would also argue with Burton that there's not a lot of choice in that area. Probably could have spun around a bit, but as soon as you lose traction, you're at even more risk of rejoining unsafely. So probably a bit of a tricky one there for Burton. He'd probably be a little bit unhappy with that, and it's actually been turned into a stop-go 10 for Burton. So that is huge. It's not just a drive-through. So Burton, despite being really on the receiving end of the initial contact,
that was for
Holmes. Penalty.
That was for
that's
Holmes.
for Holmes.
Yes,
that's for Holmes. I can't read. Yeah, give me some glasses. Someone donate. Get some glasses for me.
So that's stop go 10 for Holmes, who is still in the pits. I'm wondering if he's just not wanting to come out of the pits at this point.
It's so unfortunate if he decides not to continue. We love to see Holmes, and he's done such a good job this season as well. Really shown some incredible pace in what a very competitive split.
But yeah, he's an incredible driver. And it looks like Lele's sped into the pits because there is now an SG30 for Lele, which does look like it has come straight from the pit speed.
Right. Yeah, the penalties for Lele now needing a ticket to stand in line to be served. That is really unfortunate. This is an onboard with Monks. What has happened to Jamie Conboy? He is backed right out, and Monks has gone on through in what seems to be a rather inexplicable move aside by Jamie Conboy there. So Monks now up into P3, Jamie Conboy in P4. I wonder if he has had a wheel issue or if maybe one of his kids has come into the room and needed something from his from their dad.
Would be, well, you're seeing him also lose another position here to Johnston. I'm wondering if he's having a few issues with his setup, or if he's just currently maybe getting a bit slidey. I'm not too sure, because he was braking there for Nathan Monks for a minute there.
Yeah, he was, and on the straight as well, so he had an opportunity to maybe sort something out on the controller. He's going to try and overtake again. Ashley Johnson now up ahead of him. But yeah, he just doesn't seem to have any pace. So I'm going to try and check this out and see if there's an issue with his telemetry or something. Maybe he's not able to go full throttle. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh, and it's going to be a Heikkinen Schumacher move. Yes, it is. 2 by 2. They go around the outside of Jamie Conboy. Wow. Something drastic has happened to Jamie Conboy. He's under attack. Left, right, center, back, forward. Every single direction you can possibly envisage. Luckily for him, those around are being rather kind about it. He just looks like he's got no rear traction.
Definitely not sure what he's got, because even that Aruj did a little slide to the left really hard midway through, which is just doesn't seem right. Could be a distraction, as you said, but I'm sure someone will tell us what happens eventually.
Yes, we do know that Jamie Conboy is streaming, so if anyone is watching the stream, do let us know in the chat what's going on with Jamie Conboy. We're absolutely entirely confused right now. Stratford's just gone yellow. That's through Rivage. So something's happened there. We're on board with Cameron Thistlewaite right now, chasing down McLaughlin, who is currently our lead Pro-Am driver.
And I don't think he'll be Pro-Am for too much longer with a incredible season like this. And currently 7th for this race. And here is Conboy just...
Oh, that's scary.
Here's the... Oh, yep, lost traction and gained that traction very quickly while steering left does not help. That is that very good driving from everyone to avoid any collisions or contact there.
Yeah, get out the measuring tape, because I think Jamie Conboy could smell the barrier on the left-hand side at the top of a Radion there. Terrifying. And then, of course, for McLaughlin, well navigated, because he had a very slow car in Jamie Conboy ahead of him. And then, of course, the track suddenly runs out of area. Oh, big send. He's going to have the outside line there. This is McDowell just in behind of Thistlewaite. So Thistlewaite trying a bit of a move there. Doesn't work out, unfortunately. On board now with McDowell. Into La Source we go. Dives down the inside. Is it going to be late braking into La Source? It looks like it is. That's a great move, and space has to be given by Cameron Thistlewaite, who tried the overtake on McLaughlin, but it's gone the other way, and he's now lost a position. Nicely done by McDowell.
That is incredible. And that is a good guess, I'd say. The fuel save to make minimum refuel is an option. I do see that as something maybe Jamie Conboy will be trying, as he is still, it seems, slowing down quite a bit, because we have the Porsche and the McLarens here catching up to him quite quickly.
Yeah, this is really interesting. We'll try and keep on board. I mean, I suppose it could be a minimum fuel thing, but I don't believe there are any requirements for tyres or fuel this race. So unless he's trying a one-stopper and he's reached the limit of where he needed to be in that first stint, we are now 20 minutes through a 90-minute race. So that would be about where you need to start taking it easy. But this is taking it really easy. And you would have thought that Conboy would have been taking it even easier from the start. That said, he was the one that created the initial gap between Ellis, Lamb, and the rest of the field. So he might just be driving to a limit right now. Cameron Thistlewaite, Tokyo drifting in the McLaren. What an absolute legend that man is right there. And of course, he's even more of a legend because he's in the McLaren. So he got past McDowell once again on the straight because the Porsches have absolutely no top speed compared to McLarens that run absolutely zero wing. Let's keep an eye here. Ashton Reynolds making a lovely overtake on the inside through Pouin, and that is a Ford well dispatched through that section. Looks like the Ford there of Lewis just got a little bit wide through Pouin, opened up that inside line, and Ashton Reynolds said, thank you very much.
Already up to 14th as well from Ashton Reynolds. And as someone who is trying to save, or is on a fuel-saving map, going around this track this fast, while trying to go for a no-stop, this is great pace from Ashton Reynolds. If he could keep this pace up the whole race, even with the dead tires, because it is 27 and 33, which is very, very hot. If he can keep this pace up, he could come out on top of this race.
Yeah, and it's not just the pace as well. You know, there's no nice overtaking opportunities that he's taking. He sees them happening, goes, yep, okay, I can get an overtake there and not exert too much on the tires. So, you know, he's one of the most skilled drivers in the lobby, of course, and doing the old last somewhere in the top 10 challenge. Last lap there was a 2:20.7, so he's not going at any kind of rapid pace right now. Gets to take it easy, so this will feel fairly easy and quite a bit of fun for Ashton Reynolds, I suspect. Let's have a look at the McLaren speeding away from the car that we're on board with right now. Even in the slipstream, the Porsche has absolutely no chance, and that is Thistlewaite making progress towards the Porsche ahead. Currently a McLaren sandwich between two loaves of Porsche.
It does look like a yum sandwich as well, because I love all of the cars currently that are on the track. Don't think I actually have a car that I hate so far. Not that I've driven all of them, but like they all seem to, especially with how we handle it, they seem to all drive pretty well and have their benefits on different tracks and everything. So just seeing these cars just put what they're good at to the test is really fun to see. The Astons, just of that Valvoline Aston, is just beautiful. Sorry.
I'm sensing some bias here in maybe not the way the cars handle, but maybe the way that the cars look. And that'd be fair enough. Yep. You are an Aston Martin driver after all. Definitely destined for the commentary box as well. It's no strong opinions in the commentary box, as we Absolutely all know. Not. Yep, never a strong opinion here whatsoever. I don't know. Maybe try the Bentley out at Misano in the wet. Oh, here we go. That is a big moment for McDowell. Dirty air here and there, and a bit of a spinaroo. Should this be a game of Tony Hawk Pro Skater, that would be a couple of 1,000 points. Nice little maneuver. And that's Ashton Reynolds, once again, getting an overtake in the most unconventional place possible. Down the inside, Stavilo. Very, very nicely done. Fakuri got all out of shape there. 10-second penalty as well. And we've got an extra 15 seconds of penalty for Burton. So something has gone wrong there as well for Burton as he tries to fight his way back up through the field. This is still pretty critical at this point for him to keep the penalties limited as much as possible. The battle between him and Lele is for Silver Championship. There's no others on the grid that can really do much to get ahead, except for Ashley Johnston, which, by the way, up in P4, this is actually on now for Ashley Johnston. He could be our Silver Champion after this. Of course, we don't know the drop rounds, the calculations. I'm hoping Glenn will hear that and go, okay, start getting his calculator out. Maybe he can figure out if the positions we're seeing may give Ashley Johnston the Silver Championship win. By my reckoning, probably could be close.
I'm not great at maths, but I'd say that it's close as well. And
there are numbers involved, is all we know.
I feel like today we might see a drive-through. I'm seeing a lot of cars just take the speed token through a Rouge, which is interesting line, as we're seeing a Porsche and the Mustang go side by side. That's McDowell and Burton, I believe, which will give McDowell the position. But Burton is not going to let that just slide. Coming up on the inside for whatever this corner is. Bruxelles, I think it is.
Rivage, it might have a different name now. Who knows? This one's no name. Yep. Formerly no name corner. Oh, they've had a little bit of contact there. But what a nice bit of defending action there around the outside of Rivage. Very difficult to get that done. So McDowell, hats off to him. They're still side by side. 4 corners through, or through Pouin. It's risky, it's dangerous, but this is racing. Lovely stuff from these two drivers. Absolutely brilliant and amazing that they didn't have more contact than they did. Little tap as they went through no name, or the formerly no named corner now does have a name. Can't remember what it is. Someone in chat can let us know. Crikey, that was a nice bit of racing from these two.
Yeah, no, it's good to see the racing like that still being upheld in split blue, especially by someone who will be so focused on trying to gain those, like, gain time, especially after a 30-second penalty. That pit stop is going to be a killer for his race. So he'll be attempting everything to try to get up at the front, so that way he can possibly stay in the top 10. And they are driving pretty well right now for that
Certainly
to
are.
happen.
But I think there was a little bit of contact between Burton and McDowell there on the straight just before Blanchimont. Burton had a big bit of overspeed coming out of Stavelo, which was very nice for him, but he had to back out of it. Oh, there's been a big accident in behind, number 59 involved. Let's have a little look. Is there a bit of contact? Yes, there is. I did see the rear step out. Unusual to see that at that part of the circuit, given it is a basically cambering in towards the apex there. So you've got a million% rip through that part. But yeah, a little bit of contact. Burton does back out, and nothing more of it between these two. We have seen a few comments about Lele and the incident that happened on lap 4. I would also just argue and make a point that when you're on the inside line, it is very difficult to know exactly where the braking marker was. Did look like it was more of an accident, a mistake, missed the braking zone, rather than any sort of attempt to do a big dive send. There was plenty of space for the overtake, so sometimes these things do just happen. Speaking of dives, well, that was pretty much the same thing. It wasn't really a dive. By my definition a moment ago, it wasn't really a dive. It was, again, missed the braking zone. It is easy to do at Spa. It really is.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the type of turns that will get a lot of drivers, is those sharp turns where you have to brake a lot. And when you're coming up behind someone and they're braking that much, the aerodynamics just start to do their things, and your car just doesn't brake as quickly as you'd think it would. And there's a few spots on this track like that, especially the ones where they're slightly heading downhill and you might not notice it, and it's just enough that your car just rolls out a few extra meters, which will take out another car.
Yeah, and bear in mind, it's hot track, 33 degrees Celsius on track, so these tires are going to be pretty hot, even by now. And, that does affect braking at the end of the day. So
well,
things
just think
can
about the
go...
poor brakes themselves.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly right. And so there's so many factors that go involved in that. Certainly didn't look intentional with the way that Lele tried to back out as well. I don't think Lele has actually continued in this race by the looks of it. I think that might be a retirement for Lele. So Burton looks to be the one to take out the Silver Championship. That's assuming Ashley Johnson doesn't get a fantastic result today, which he is currently on for, being chased down by McKellar. So yeah, this could be a huge swing for the Silver Championship, and an unfortunate end to battle. Yes, I think you're right, actually. I can't see him on the charts anymore.
So yeah, I believe he's out. I believe he is talking in chat at the moment, which is all right. But yeah, not the greatest rejoin, but also not the greatest situation to be a part of. So drivers try what they can, and sometimes accidents happen.
Yep, unfortunately, this is racing. That is a speed token by Logan Burton, who may still have a little bit of red mist going on. He's definitely been showing more pace than McDowell, but has yet to find a way past at the moment. We're just coming up towards the 1 hour remaining mark, so plenty of racing still to be had. So it is a real shame to see a few drivers drop out already, but both you and me, Jaden, we understand the situation, right? You get into an accident or two, especially when it's not of your making, make a few mistakes, and then suddenly it all starts to spiral away from you. And that is one of the most frustrating things in real motorsports, in sim racing, in everything. It is so frustrating, but these are the things we have to live with. If we want to have good racing, it's got to be close, it's got to be tight, and sometimes those little small things that happen just have big consequences, right?
It's that attempt to make those positions back that I feel like cause a lot more issues and cause that spiral to become so much crazier. The attempt at just driving faster than your normal pace, the just instant trying to take over every car you come across. It's not a great mindset to be in halfway through the race, especially this early on with only 30 minutes having passed. With a whole nother hour to go, the drivers are going to want to have a good mental space, going to want to focus on what they're doing, and that is another penalty for Burton, 5 seconds for dangerous driving. So again, this is just another thing that's going to add on to Burton's mind, and he's going to have to figure out how he is going to take this without taking anybody else out.
Yeah,
or
again,
anybody out.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. Oh, that was close. Okay, well, he's stayed out of that one, luckily. 35 seconds of penalties to his name, so if and when he does, well, I think it's more of a matter of when rather than if, I think, he does come into the pit lane, he'll have to serve that then. You know, I've been in this situation before, started really well, qualified well, key points on the line, really put a lot of effort into the qualifying and all sorts. We see Steve Lewis get a drive-through penalty for causing a collision on lap 11. So that is the P22 driver, the 959 silver category, drive-through for him as we go on board with Cameron Thistlewaite battling McLaughlin. And just to finish my train of thought, you know, and I got it all wrong. I got it all wrong. It was actually very similar to what Lele did here today. Dived into a couple of cars ahead of me, took them out, ruined their races, and then carried on. And then I think I took out nearly every single person I approached because I was incredibly fast at that track, but I didn't quite have the sense that I needed at the time to, or the mindset to get myself back into racing amongst others. And that's a key skill. It really, really is, because things will go wrong. It is sim racing. Things will inevitably go wrong, and our ability to reset mid-race is absolutely key and not easy to learn and to do.
It is a big struggle, and we've seen it throughout the season as well, especially me, who's been here for every race of Split Blue. You just notice it with some of these cars. They have incredible races in the next race, and one incident happens and it spirals in that whole race. That you can see that they're not driving the normal pace they're not driving with the normal skill set they have, and it's just that effect that the incidents have, and it's just a part of the racing at that point. And it's something that is learnt by experience and not from any other way, really.
Yep, couldn't agree more. And what better reason than that to get involved in the Academy Racing Series or the next series of Octane Online Racing Sprints. We have had some talk about 24-hour races coming up. Also, the Trio Series coming up soon. So that's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be plenty of racing action as we go into the downtime between seasons for Sprint Series. So keep an eye on the notifications. Give us a like and subscribe on YouTube, or a follow on Twitch if you are watching from over there. Twitch chat's been a little bit quiet today, but I'm sure we've got a few in the chat over there too. But thank you for everyone for tuning in. Hope you're having a good time so far as we head into 1 hour remaining now in this race. Looks like temperatures are coming down a little bit, Jaden. We are heading towards 5 p.m. on track, so it'll be getting to just around dusk by the time we head towards the last 30 minutes. I think there will be a bit of a cooling from now on. That'll be very good news to those who are trying a no-stop, and might be good news for everyone, really. Come out of the pits and suddenly your tyres are going to last just that little bit longer. Might be an excuse, maybe, just to pit a little bit earlier.
I think it's going to make a lot of drivers happy out there. I think even if you do pit, it's a great situation to come out on, because those people that aren't pitting are still going to have somewhat dead tires by that point, just due to the heat that we've had the whole time. Not sure how much the heat is going to drop though, because it is still Spa, which does its thing. But we will see whether the no-pitch strategy works, as we do see Ashton Reynolds, who is the driver going for that, at least one of the drivers going for it, currently in 12th place and just closing in on Logan Burton and McDowell there. And we are getting information in the chat that Burton has done lots of practice for this race, was instantly practicing for this race after the last, where were we at last?
Nürburgring?
Nürburgring, that's the one. That's where we were at. After Nürburgring. So Burton has done a lot of practice here, so this will also be playing on his mind. Again, back onto the mental state thing. A lot of coming in with a lot of practice and then having it kind of all thrown away from a crash that's not really your fault. It kind of will set you up a little bit bad as well. But hopefully he is able to, and it does look like he has kind of backed off a little and has started to just work on keeping a nice pace throughout the track.
Yeah, and this is the refocusing that he needs to do at this stage. He's got a penalty ahead of him, so he'll have plenty of downtime in the pit lane. Might be a sensible thing to think about doing that sooner rather than later. He's been running in the slipstream of McDowell and dirty air of McDowell for a long time now, and he knows he's got good pace. So probably about time to maybe think about moving into the pit lane, getting the car damage repaired, serving that pit stop, coming out hopefully in some clean air, and then just getting his head down and getting those laps in. We know he's quick. He just needs to go out there and really start to execute on that. Last result for him at Nürburgring, P6, but Lele was P4, so no doubt he was the Silver Championship is on the line here, and he could be taking home the Silver category win for the season. And knowing that Lele beat him in that last 75-minute round at Nürburgring, I'm sure the pressure was on. He was really keen to get a good result here, and he was really on for it until, unfortunately, what happened with Lele down the inside. That was a speed token there for Burton, and now maybe a move down the inside, blocked off by McDowell. Around the outside, will Burton have to go? As I do my best Yoda impression. Oh dear, okay. Well, that's going to the steward's room.
That will be going to the steward's room. That, I couldn't see myself who caused that, but I don't think they're going to be too happy with the speed token being used to go for that position. But that will again be up to the stewards to the side. But that does help Ashton Reynolds gain another position, I believe, which puts him into 11th. So
yeah,
he'll be happy.
I think McDowell defending down the inside was flipping the inside curb of Les Coombs just a little bit there. Might have just sent the car slightly awry. We're going to get a replay on board with Burton. That's what happens. Oh, yeah, that's got to be a track limit warning right there. Got to be. Okay, so has a little look down the inside. Not a car length there unless he dips a couple of tires onto the grass, moves to the outside line, brakes at the normal place around the corner. Is that a bit of extra curb? That, yeah, it is. Look, the Porsche's bouncing as well. So, for me, that's borderline racing incident. But this is also why I'm not a steward. So we'll see what the stewards do come back to us with. In the meantime, the man with the least amount of screen time so far today, Matthew Lamb, has pulled a 4-second gap over Breno Ellis. Go McLaren.
And look at Renault Alice with a 14-second gap on Nathan Monks. That is incredible driving from the top two. Matthew Lamb, of course, driving the McLaren like he has nothing to lose because he's driving really fast. But we were talking about Nürburgring, so I do want to bring up as well that we do have the Nords 24-hour coming up on Saturday the 30th of November with teams of 2 to 6 people. You can sign up over on the Endurance chat. I believe there is a link in the Endurance announcements channel for the Nords 24-hour race. And yeah, that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll take 6 people, please, in my 24-hour team. I'm not keen to do that with 2 or 3 or 4 people. I'll do that with 6. We're on board with the Ferrari camera here at the top of Radeon. Just waiting for a Ferrari to come round sideways. Hasn't happened quite yet. Everyone seems to be rather stable through there for the most part. Also keep an eye on the track limit on the inside corner as they come over the hill. There's Wilk, there's McDowell coming on through. Let's keep an eye. There's a Ferrari. Oh, okay. Well done. Lewis managed to get through just fine. It wasn't Lewis, that was Wood. Sorry, Neil Wood got through just fine.
Yeah, no, that's getting through fine is a good situation, especially for the Ferrari there. So that's a good work handling that Ferrari.
We're straddling the line here of being really mean to the Ferrari drivers, but objectively the facts don't lie. But yeah, Nürburgring 24 hours. Looking forward to that very, very much. No idea who I'm going to be driving with, but I'll definitely be driving somewhere, or I'll be in the commentary box for probably the whole race. No, it won't be the whole race, but maybe a long stint. I'll be there for the hopefully commentating a little bit of the Nords. I know I'm racing, so obviously got to be there for my part of the race. But it's gonna be an interesting race. I'm not too good at Nords, so I'm very interested. Did we mention which tracks we're doing for the Trios series, by the way? Because that's also some interesting tracks. Don't think I have. Well, we haven't mentioned it. No, I don't actually know which tracks they're driving at. So I'd be very interested to hear.
The Cheerio series is taking place on Wednesdays for the 9th, the 16th, and the 23rd of October. It will be at Watkins Glen, Suzuka, and Silverstone with 3-person teams driving 3 cars, the GT2, the GT4s, and the M2. There'll be 60-minute races, and it will be a free entry, which you can also sign up if you go get your Trios channel role and sign up for the Trio Series. There is not many spots left. I believe the first 20 teams of 3 only, and it's over half full.
Wow. There you go. Go and get signed up. Off-season at OOR is absolutely fire, as you can all tell. And of course, we look forward to season 19 of the Sprint Series as well. We'll be very interested to see what calendar is selected. I'm hoping Paul Ricard does not make an appearance, but that's just me and my bias. In the meantime, Jamie Conboy right on the back of McKellar in the 111 Ferrari. So it is Ferrari versus a Nissan. And Conboy, whatever issue he was having seems to be more or less resolved. Not the greatest lap times being set by him, but I think this means race control. 100 races at Snetterton. There's your Series 19 information, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go sign up right now. I'm fine with that.
I've been to learn a new track.
Yeah. And a lot of people who'll go, yeah, nah, I think is the traditional phrase for that sort of comment.
Yeah,
I was thinking that what we do is we split 24 hours of racing at Nordschleife over a season. So you just do 3 hours a week at Nordschleife over 8 weeks. I thought that might be a great idea, but I got kind of shut down with that fairly quickly. In the Jag too, great idea. Oh, Benjamin Hignett with all the great ideas. 100 races at Snetterton, only using the Jag. Actually, if I'm honest, I love the idea of a one-make series, but I'm not sure how many fans that would have here at OOR. I think we all we've got our own preferences with regards to car choice.
I would love to see a mixed series. That would be a very fun one, like GT4 and GT3. I just don't think there'd be enough people going for the GT4s in the GT4, GT3 series, but it would still be fun to have.
Yes, GT4 sign-up has a disclaimer. Do you enjoy being blue flagged for 60 minutes? Yes, no.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we got one sign-up already. Fantastic. Let us know what you think might be ahead for Season 19. We're right at the end of Season 18, round 8 of 8, of course, 48 minutes on the clock here at Spa. Leader is still Matthew Lamb, followed by Breno Ellis. Monks in a great position right now. It was Jamie Conboy who was in the P3 position, and look at this run by Jamie Conboy. Whoa! Had a massive moment at the top of Radion. Wow! Manages to control it. Gee, I really thought he was going sideways there.
He really likes getting that car sideways. We saw it last week. He was sliding everywhere at Nürburgring. We've seen it a bit this week, especially after his great quali lap, which put him up into top 5. And then here he is getting a little bit loose there. It's just that. Yep, just coming off of that curb has just sent him a little bit. But he does like getting the car sideways, so he could just be trying to show off once again.
Yeah, that wouldn't be Jamie Conboy at all. We didn't see him do donuts. 3 minutes remaining in qualifying once he set a good lap time. Couple of comments in chat. Season 19, all British, question mark. But the Mustang is the Jag, question mark from Gorilla Snapper. And then Dasbox saying, I'd race GT4 in mixed. Yeah, fair enough. I'd probably give it a shot. I don't mind the GT4 cars, just, getting used to the understeer just takes a little while, I think.
I feel like they'd have to do some sort of system where it's first in, best dressed, and you get half of them a GT4, half a GT3. If you don't get in, it's your own fault.
Yeah, not a bad idea. I mean, there's always been the suggestion of, another sideways moment for Jamie Conboy. He is all over the track right now with the car in awkward positions, still chasing after McKellar, maybe suffering a little bit with the dirty air ahead of him. There was always the suggestion, I've seen this a couple of times, of having the categories split up between, so Pro would be driving GT3s, there'd be Silvers and GT2s, or some mix of this. I don't think this was the appropriate suggestion, but you see what I mean. Silvers and GT2s, GT4s for the Pro-Am class, and the AM drivers would then be in the Porsche Cup cars or something like that. There's been
put them in
the
M2s.
The M2s. Yeah, that's yeah. Oh, dude, I'm having flashbacks to
that would be
many seasons ago when there was a mid-season M2 race at Valencia. And let's say that not everyone had a lot of fun. We're looking at Ashley Johnson. He's come into the pits. That means he'll fall down to P7 or P8. This will wait. Will come on through as well. Horsburgh has also jumped into the pits, as has Lewis. So a few pit stops now. Jamie Conboy making a move outside line. This is going to be good, as the 619 or 618 or 610, that's Neil Wood, has had a bit of a problem on the Blanchimont back straight.
And that is what happens when you drive a Ferrari.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, I'm just calling it straight out now. It's a Ferrari thing.
We had been straddling that line for the last 45 minutes. Now we have absolutely crossed it. No, I think we're probably all good. Just a little tippy toe across the line, maybe. No, I guess we'll get a replay at some point, see what's happened to the number 610. Obviously, a massive issue there. He's made it back to the pits. Let's have a look at the overtake from Jamie Conboy. Is this the overtake, or is this the moment?
The overtake.
Oh, this is the overtake. There we go.
And I'm going to guess I'm going to for Ferrari lifted off there, because that was a lot of speed coming out of there from the Nissan GT.
Ferrari lifting off at Eau Rouge and Raidillon? Unheard of.
What?
Yeah, never happened before. The Ferrari doesn't scare anyone through that section of the track. Anyway, yeah, no, if we're going to cross the line, we might as well double down, right, Jaden?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Justin in chat, the pros driving the M2s. You reverse the categories, so you'd have the AM class drivers and the GT3 cars. That could be quite a spicy bit of racing.
The faster? Yeah, I could see it. I could also see some of the pros passing me while I'm in a GT2 or GT4 car or whatever.
Oh my goodness! So this is what's happened on the Blanchimont straight, and that is Neil Wood getting sandwiched between an incredibly fast Ford, I think it was, in behind, and yeah.
I'm starting to think that wasn't a Ferrari issue.
It was not a Ferrari issue. We were absolutely wrong. So yeah, really unlucky there. Big overspeed from the car behind, and Neil Wood and the other car probably maybe going a little bit slow through that section. Certainly there was a car ahead for Neil Wood, so nowhere he could have gone. Suddenly found himself absolutely sandwiched. We're going on board for yet another replay here through Blanchimont. Oh yeah, looks like Fakuri is the McLaren ahead. Didn't quite get his line up correctly through that part of the corner, and was definitely off the throttle. There's no way the McLaren's going that slow usually through Blanchimont, and yeah, Neil Wood got caught out, as did the Ford behind.
And as we were just looking at our top three pitting, which means Jamie Conboy is currently in first for the Spa race. And Ashton Reynolds also on the track. Yeah, red flag right now. Ashton Reynolds still on the track, and I believe not a lap down, so should, when he gets through the next sector, be put up into third?
Yes.
Second? Third.
Yeah. So that's interesting. That's going to be one to keep a very close eye on. Ashley Johnston still making his way through the field. He has pitted already, I believe. Yes, he pitted quite a while ago, actually. Edward McCurry, stop and go 20 for dangerous driving on lap 19. I think that was the lap that we've just been on. Yeah, so slow through Blanchimont and essentially causing a Constantina effect involving Neil Wood and whoever the Ford driver was at that point, in a big accident that's really cost both of them in behind. No idea why he was going so slow through that section. Something must have happened.
I'd assume maybe a little bit of a slide, because I know for a fact that when that is a speed token. I know when I slide through some sectors, I might slow down just a little bit, just so I can get my brain focused on driving a little bit more. But I usually also not doing that with cars approaching at very high speeds. So could be that, could be something else. I guess we won't know. But we do see that Reynolds is actually really not that far ahead of Lamb. Yeah, so here we go. He did a break.
Well, yeah, hang about, yeah, like that. I have to agree with the stewards. I'm usually a little hesitant to say, oh, you know, that's dangerous or that's not. But yeah, breaking into that corner, I mean, he got really caught out there. The braking was not what was required at that corner, unfortunately. So that is not a good look there, unfortunately, and it's really cost Neil Wood and the other driver there Yeah, race control, absolutely spot on there. Might need the medical car for that one, certainly, because that was high G impact. And yeah, you just that corner. No one expects anyone to brake there. It's just that's not what the car in front should have been doing. But you know, sometimes it is what it is. Maybe something has happened there, or maybe he was trying to get out of the way.
It's not the greatest spot to have it happen, and that will probably upset the other two drivers. So to brake there, I thought maybe a throttle lift or something had happened, but a braking there might have just been one of those moments where you're not thinking clearly. I've done it before. I've braked at a high speed corner, but it's too dangerous of a spot to do it. So I'm also going to agree with the stewards there on that one. That's definitely deserves a penalty of some sort.
Yes, arguably you might be able to call that one the Fernando Alonso, for those of you on that side of the fence, talking about a certain incident at, where was it? It was at Melbourne, I think it was. George Russell, Fernando Alonso.
Yep.
Yep. Enough said. I'm going to stop trying to cause controversy. Yep. Just trying to get a bit of chat engagement in the YouTube now. We've got plenty of people talking and chatting away, which is fantastic. Taufik actually chiming in as well, renowned Ferrari driver. Ferrari not supposed to lift off at Radion. He took it full throttle, even under slipstream. There you go. Ooh, Aaron Lee. Not the line that you want to be in. And that is maybe going to cost him a position to Apreciado as well.
And although we are currently on ACC, I do also like the idea of the LMU chat currently going on, which looks interesting.
I've yet to try LMU. I've got it, and I never actually turned it on, which is
it's very nice. It's very nice.
Yeah, it's a genuine shame on me. But yeah, it looks like a great game. That said, we're also all looking forward to AC Evo in the near future, so we shall see what happens. Exciting space in the sim racing sports industry at the moment. So much happening here and there. Lots of new hardware and stories from the hardware industry as well. Fanatec being one. Yet again, here I am stirring the pot. So that's a fun one. We're on board with Aaron Lee now. Has lost that position to Apreciado. So let's do a quick rundown of where everyone is at. How about Ren Sports, guys? Oh yeah, Ben. He is stirring the pot big time. I don't know. I mean, the what was it? The ESL R1 or something like that. The competition that they had, and seemed okay. But I think everyone's got their beta keys still, and I've yet to hear any further news on the development. But we shall see. Let's do a quick rundown on where things are at right now. So Jamie Conboy does lead, still has yet to come into the pits, unless he's going for the no-stop strategy. Oh, and Benjamin Hignett's got one to give out. There you go. So if anyone wants to try Ren Sport, give it a little go, then have a chat to Benjamin Hignett.
Have no clue what it is, but it looks interesting.
Oh, there we go. There's the comment I was waiting for. Yeah, I was wondering what a strong opinion was going to be. And we've got a comment from chat. This is brilliant. Wen Sport? Yep. That's it. There you go.
Okay, also, it seems like it's not loved.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's not been the smoothest release for the pinnacle of sim racing engines. Anyway, I think before we stir this pot any further, I'm sure Race Control's got a few more things to say. He might even chime in on this chat. But before I completely lose my train of thought, let's do a rundown of the grid. Okay, we're watching on board with Aaron Lee right now. He's under pressure from McDowell. Jamie Conboy leads the race, no stop at the moment. Ashton Reynolds doing the same. I think both of them may be going for the no stop today. Very interesting strategy, but 25 seconds behind them, Matthew Lamb doing 2 19s, 2 18s through this. He has come into the pits, currently P3 in Pro Class. Then Breno Ellis, another 12 seconds back. Leading silver right now is Monks. So Nathan Monks having a really good race right now in the Ford. A little bit of damage here and there, has come into the pits, didn't decide to repair the bodywork clearly. Then we've got Ashley Johnston, who is in a position here to maybe get some really good points and potentially get a P2 or a P3 or a P1, I should say, in silver category. Very good. Then McKellar is third place in silver right now. Josh McLaughlin, we've got Cameron Thistlewaite in between them. So here's Cameron right now. Ferox, of course, as well known. Second fastest McLaren out on track. Josh McLaughlin leading Pro-Am class right now with Horsburgh in top 10, leading out the rest of the field. P10 here for Garth Horsburgh. Then Apreciado, P2 in the Pro-Am class, P11 overall. Aaron Lee is holding on desperately right now. to this battle. He's right in the middle of these guys and trying to hold on to a decent position. Then, of course, McDowell is sitting there in P13, followed by Kieran Reid, who is our third position in Pro-Am. Then behind them, the two M-Class drivers, P16, P17, at the moment, Stratford, having a good race in M-Class as we stay on board with Aaron Lee. And this is turning out to be a nice little three-way battle.
Am I wrong to say that Aaron Lee started near the back in this race again?
I will check. Aaron Lee started P25. He was last place.
Yeah. Yep, so one just ahead of Ashland Reynolds. But that is, again, another great drive from a great driver this season. A few people tried that tactic of starting near the back. I'm surprised we didn't see any pit starts today. But the start of just starting from the back seems to actually work in a lot of cases at the moment.
Yeah, exactly right. Sorry, I'm chuckling away because chat's... We've truly stirred the pot, and chat's going for it. Comments about blockchain car ownership and force feedback issues, when sport. Yeah. Anyway, let's go from board for a replay. This is Jamie Conboy, and at the moment, but yet again executes the counter steering with perfection. Aaron Lee now making a counter move on Apreciado. Is it going to work out? Apreciado's got a nice bit of speed around the outside line. We'll get the power down probably a little bit better, but that is move done for Aaron Lee. Be a bit vulnerable, though, up the Kemmel Straight, I think.
Likely. Not sure how well these other cars handle the Rouge, but it looks like the Aston is doing exactly what it needs to do to keep up to that Nissan.
Yeah, that said, I mean, the Nissan's got great power through this section, and as you can see, even with the slipstream, Aston Martin not really making any progress at all. So Apreciado is going to have to try and get it done in the infield, and if he doesn't, then, well, yeah, he'll be sitting behind Aaron Lee for another little while. A little bit wide there for Aaron as we head into Rivage. Down the hill, hard braking then the zone, this one. Really, really tricky. Get it wrong, and you're just off track immediately.
Yeah, this track is full of those, I feel like, as well, though, that if you're just slightly off the line that you want to take and you're still trying to get that full power out of the car, especially when you're in battles like this, you're not going to be able to really have the best time. You're going to end up flying off of the track, and Rouge is definitely one of them into Ready On, and then especially around into turn 15 as well, has that as well, and then a few others. Yeah, it's just not really great, and we're still talking about the cars. Definitely stirred the pot with Red Sport.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, chat wondering exactly how we begun this downward spiral, talking about what could be cool for Sprint Series in season 19, and making a few funny jokes about that, to talking about Ren Sport. Anyway, we're gonna move off this topic in the commentary box, and we'll focus a little bit on the racing. Apreciado not having a great bit of time ahead, suddenly lost a lot of pace through that last sector, and doesn't look like turn 15 or 16 were particularly friendly to him this time out. That gives Aaron Lee the ability just to start to pull away, pull that gap out, and if he can get outside the slipstream, he'll be absolutely stoked. I think another underrated corner as well that is trickier than we think is actually La Source, and race control continuing to stir the pot. We're gonna let hold on, Apreciado is having a real problem now. That's McDowell through. I wonder if he's just decided he doesn't want any part of this and just wants to run his own race. Maybe that's it. Pulled right out of the way of the Porsche, and the Porsche goes on through. So there we go. Yeah, now I'm getting distracted. My mind keeps jumping back to making funny jokes about Ren Sport. But let's talk about La Source as we watch the Ferrari cam. There goes Aaron Lee. There goes a Porsche. There goes an Aston Martin. All safe so far. La Source, I think it's honestly an underrated than JB Conboy. Wow. He's on the limit there.
Please give us Ferrari.
Yeah, we're just waiting now. Waiting for Ferrari, and then we'll hear the sigh of "ah" as they successfully navigate it. That's a speed token for Monks. And yeah, it looks like no Ferraris coming up to grace the viewing pleasure at the Ferrari disaster cam area at the top of Radion. I think, yeah, like I was saying, La Source, another tricky corner. It's slightly downhill as you get off the brakes, camber in, and then the exit, just oh so critical. But it's all about that entry, right? Braking zone and entry and getting a nice late turn in to straighten up the exit.
If you're not getting the right entry, you're not going to get the right exit, which it's surprising how that works. But yeah, this is definitely one of those tracks that have a play on on the braking turns, a somewhat slow entry just for that fast exit, because it is almost always a long exit where it comes out to a straight or a long turn that they can take at high speeds. So there's a lot of those spots where they need to take it somewhat slow and get it right and set up for that exit so they can get it nice. And you'll see it here with the Mustang, who's taking that inside line. It's not too bad for that turn because it is a instant switch back to the left, but you can see the gap that Aston made just there. But you see how much they brake just so they can get the right amount of angle to get the most speed out of this turn, which is one of those high speed rights. As you see the Aston lose a little bit of grip there, giving giving Burton the opportunity to come up alongside if he can.
Oh, side by side through Blanchimont, scary. Aston Martin gets it all wrong on the curb and launches himself to the Aston Martin space program, which I'm sure Lance Stroll's father is funding. But yeah, absolutely right. It's a tricky little area there for the Aston Martin. They don't seem to have a lot of fun on the exit of turn 15, just getting onto the green strip on the left-hand side. Not an easy place to be essentially understeering into. Oversteer even more scary. Let's have a little look. Or turns in a bit too early, realizes it, then rides the curb a bit. Yeah, there's not a big window of time there to get the turn in absolutely right. I've found that just sort of leaning into the corner seems to be the best way of doing it, and let the car's mechanical grip sort of take over.
Yeah, 100%. And it's one of those turns where you kind of just have to be right on the apex, or if you miss that apex, you're going to go wide every time. And if you come in too shallow, you're going to just go wide. So it's not really the greatest turn for some of these cars that can't handle that high speed and somewhat sharp turn, because that is a pretty sharp turn for the speeds you were going. So the way that these cars are able to do it is incredible.
And I think you made a good point as well just before about, maximizing the entry, because it is a lot of this track is about the entry. That means that your ability in trail braking is really tested quite a lot here, because the temptation in all of these corners is to really slam on the brakes, come off, and you can do that successfully. I mean, as you said before, Fugner's corners, probably the easiest place to get away with that sort of on-off driving style with the brakes. But the rest of these corners, man, it's all about modulating the brakes just that little bit, getting the turn and getting the car to grip, and then actually using the accelerator to push yourself through the corner. I think a great example of that is Pouin, right? You don't generally want to be on the full brake for more than probably a couple of maybe a couple of tenths of a second, really. Then you want to be immediately modulating it off so you can bring the car in, because the difference between slamming on the brakes and turning in on the exit speed is absolutely massive. Same with La Source, similar for Les Coombs as well. You want to be managing that apex speed a lot. Oh, Jamie Comboy style as he heads into the pits. So it's not a no-stop strategy for Jamie Comboy.
And that was a nice little drift. Do want to say some great chems from Benjamin Hignett here, so thank you for those, and also for the season as well. Thank you to all the stewards who were here to run all these races, and also the race director. It has been a good season. It seems full of good racing and everything, so I'm sorry that there was a little bit of work for you guys this season, but it seems to have gone decently well. It was my first sprint series. It was my first sprint series commentating, and it's been a pleasure doing it. So, and also thank you for joining me in the booth today, and also during Paul Ricard. Oh no, not Paul Ricard. What was it? Coda.
Was it? It was indeed Coda. Yes, where many a joke was exchanged about that circuit, and unfortunately, it wasn't the best start to the season, but things have tidied up a lot since then. I think the hardest working people out there this season have been the stewards and the race directors. But yeah, and you know what as well? I mean, Jaden, pleasure being in the commentary box with you, mate. You've outdone yourself in the commentary box this season. You really have. Stop doing so well, all right? You come into the commentary box and you absolutely nail it. You jump out on track and sprint series and you absolutely nail it, all right? So you just got to tone it down a couple of notches, all right? Next season.
I'll promise to be at the back of every race.
Okay, fantastic. It's a deal. Brilliant. But yeah, I'm sure you'll be back in the commentary box all the way through. And I think everyone in chat would agree with that as well. I think also thank you to the drivers for showing up. Not much can happen without them. Let's just say that. On board with Monks now. Let's see how he navigates Eau Rouge and Radion. Down the hill we go, to the left and then to the right. Try and clip a little bit of the curb, but not too much. Actually, that inside curb on the right, if you clip it just the right amount, gives you that little bit of turn and allows you to carry a little bit more speed up the hill, which can be really, really helpful. I just love Eau Rouge and Radion. It's killed me many, many times. I've got it wrong many, many times, skill issues and everything. But I tell you, it is one of the most fun places at this track. So Jamie Conboy has pitted, has come now back out on track. He's got Monks just behind him. 19-second gap up to Breno Ellis. So probably a little bit of a long shot to be getting P3 unless something happens with Ashton Reynolds. Now, the gap there was about 25 seconds. That's come down by about 7 seconds. So 18-second gap now between Ashton Reynolds and Matthew Lamb. And hopefully we've been given the right information, Jaden, that Ashton Reynolds is on no stop. Does look that way at the moment. Still hovering in the 220s on average for the lap time.
And currently 17 seconds ahead. I do agree. I think we should stick with Jamie Conboy and Nathan Monks because I don't believe JC got tyres, which means that he will be... We could see him spin, or we could see that the no tyre strategy does work with the Nissan GTR at least. I've seen with the amount he's slid today, I'm not sure if it will work, and he did not get tyres. So... yeah, so this could be very interesting. The Mustang being a fast car, but the GTR having great acceleration. So this could be a close battle between the two. Oh, and that indicator's still on.
It's still on. It's been on nearly, well, since he started to slow down quite a bit. Monks is going to try maybe up the inside. That door's going to be shut rapidly. JC's trying to avoid. Monks has to get out of it massively. Good awareness there by JC, and Monks, rightly so, had to get out of it. He was going way too quickly into that corner. We'll have to back off, and he is going to have to try once again. Look at the way that JC's car is moving. Yeah, no doubt he didn't get tires. You could tell that by the way the rear end is stepping out on him.
Yeah, and he's going to be struggling, especially. I mean, we've already seen him sliding without the issue of being a hour and 30 in. So. If we see him come here and he gets a bit of curb, but no sliding there. That's a good run through there for him. That makes him sound like he does it usually horribly, but that's a good run through there for anybody to be able to hold full throttle, especially with no tires changed. But yeah, Ashton Reynolds up at the front, holding it pretty well, 16 seconds ahead. It looks like Lamb is catching up about a second per lap. With 23 minutes to go, that means Lamb could or likely will make up that space, and that is
it's over for Monks. Monks has overcooked it in turn 9 Malmedy, and he has sent himself to the Shadow Realm. Wow, he's going to have a lot of damage. Jamie Conboy will breathe a sigh of relief, and that battle that was heating up at the same rate as JC's tires is now suddenly cooled down. Let's have a little look on the replay. Inside curb, bit too much throttle, car's unbalanced, into the wall.
PC off.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure I saw traction control off there in that car view, so that probably didn't help either.
No, TC0 through there is scary. I've done it before, didn't do it again.
And I know the Mustang does need to pretty consistently change TC to get around here, or else you're going very slow in some turns. It could have just been that's one of the turns they're supposed to use TC0, or that's one of or he just forgot to turn TC back on for that turn. But it's not worked out great for Nathan Monks. But I don't think he's lost any positions there.
No, but he's fallen back within shooting range of Ashley Johnston, who will appreciate the points if he can find his way past the now damaged Ford ahead of him. And this is going to be an important one, actually, for Ashley Johnston. Was running in P4 for quite some time. Of course, with Ashton Reynolds not going into the pits, that means they've got a bit of extra position to make up. Oh, that's grass, and that's sideways, and that's a barrier, and that's tarmac, and that's sideways again, and another barrier hit for Curry, who's had a shocker into Pouon. In a McLaren, unfortunately, as well. I personally hate to see it. Really unlucky there, but yeah, a couple of tires off, and yeah, the car's not going to brake particularly well. Then you've got a very big differential inertial load on each side of the car, and that is the definition of a spin.
Might need a medical car out for that crash as well. That high speed into the barrier did not look very healthy at all. But it does look like Monks is keeping somewhat of a decent pace with the damage, so I'm guessing it's not too horrible. Maybe he was able to keep it just slow it enough for the wall so it didn't completely destroy the front end, meaning he'll be able to get that speed going. As you can see, he's not too far behind Convoy.
Yeah, look at that line from Convoy, though. So deep into reverse, straight line braking, then turning in as quickly as he can to straight line the exit. And that's the definition of my rear tyres are gone. Monks is, yeah, nearly caught back up to him. Monks has definitely been driving faster than Ashley Johnson at the moment. Ashley's fastest lap, I believe, was an 18.3, 18.1 fastest lap from Monks. Of course, that last lap a little bit slower because of what happened. But yeah, he's caught right back up. Jamie Convoy is not having too much fun out there right now, I think. And that's Monks going very wide. I think Monks just needs to relax a little bit. He's getting the eager eye, so to speak. He sees the car slow ahead. He knows that he can pass if he can just catch up to the rear of Jamie Convoy. But now I think he just needs to relax a little bit. He's done not too much and has caught back up already. Obviously got more inherent pace, has been out there on fresh tyres for about 23 minutes, has Monks, whereas Jamie Convoy, his tyres have been out there for 70 minutes right now. So, you know, it's going to be an easy overtake if he can just get up to the back of him. Just needs to stop making these small mistakes that has costed them. By the way, note on TC0, make sure the car has all four wheels on the ground before you touch that accelerator. That is the key to TC0 driving.
That is a good tip. We do not have maths on the Johnston and Burton Silver Champ points, but this is my own maths, so I might be wrong. I do believe Johnston can beat Burton here with the Silver Championship points, especially with the current positions that they're both in.
Try and crunch some numbers now, but I think a P6 finish would bag him about 85 points, whereas Burton is currently sitting... where is he? He's in 14th, so... It could actually... Yeah, it's really close. Like, I want to say that it's a yes, because my instinct says yes, but then there's the drop round to consider, so we've got to think about all their previous results as well relative to each other, and we just don't have that data on hand. Maybe someone can crunch the numbers. Results.octaneonlineracing.com. Check out AP Blue. We've got 18 minutes left. Someone get us a calculator and more data, please.
Really get us a mathematician. Let's just get everybody in here. We need a full research team.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Dear. Yeah, we just need Glenn Germain. Actually, that's what we need. Glenn, this is an SOS. We need your math skill right now.
We have no clue, but again, this has been a great race by Reynolds, who's still holding it out almost 14 seconds ahead. We're going to have to go into pit lane. Yep, I agree. But still 14 seconds ahead of Matt Lamb is Reynolds, and Matt Lamb is 4 seconds ahead of Alice, followed by Jamie Convoy, who is currently almost 27 seconds behind Alice.
Just look at the line, though, for JC through there. He's basically sideways through Stavilo. He's struggling so much to get the power down. Every single time he turns, the rear just wants to step out. You'll see the counter steering maybe even here. No, that's pretty smooth through there. That's standard. Is he going to defend down the inside line from Monks? He's going to try. Monks nearly hit him a couple of laps ago right there. Very deep from Convoy. Oh, no, he can't hold it. That's going to be the position. And there we go. Monks goes on through. Did say it was going to be a matter of when, not if. And JC's tyres are somewhat letting him down at this stage. I get the feeling that with fresh tyres, this would still be positioned JC. So maybe that wasn't the call. Maybe he's just trying to challenge himself out there today. But yeah, the body language of the car is just all over the place right now in that Nissan.
Well, we're seeing a few cars that did take tyres, and they're up in the front area, and I'm pretty sure Monks took tyres just by the pace he's currently on. So, like, it's very likely that tyres might have just been the way to go with this race. I know a couple people in yellow didn't take tyres, and it worked out well for them, but it just really depends on what's going on around you and how the situation does turn out.
Yeah, I think JC's a bit of a counter-steer enjoyer, so and he definitely doesn't shy away from a challenge. That is a bad run for Monks. Inside lunge for JC, but can't do it because he rides the curb on the inside, so has to back out of the throttle, whereas Monks had the opportunity to keep that throttle on despite the wide line, missing the apex entirely into Rivage. No other opportunity there for JC. Nearly a move. Monks got it really all wrong at Les Coombs. He's got ahead, clean air now, and seems to be the body language of his Ford also starting to slightly deteriorate, or maybe just a couple of small mistakes there from him. Needs to get his head in the right space. But, you know, when you've got JC running behind you, you know that you've got to keep on driving fast. Let's have a little look, see what's happened here. Is it just, he's just ridden the curve. He's just got a bit slow there through the second part of Les Coombs, and JC said, well, if you're going to give me the space, I'll take it. Unfortunately, that space rapidly ran out as Monks was able to reapply the power. So nearly a move there. JC's holding on. You know, it takes a lot of driving skill to drive on this level of tire degradation. So no matter what, no matter the positions lost, hats off to JC. Really impressive stuff.
Update on the calculations. We have Benny V in the chat saying if the positions stay the same, Johnston should have it by 2 points, they think. Which seems right, but I am still not 100% sure. Because, yeah, Logan didn't get quali points as well.
He did get quali points, I think. Yeah.
Did he? Oh, he did.
Well,
Yeah. So, and Johnston didn't.
Yeah, Johnson. Ashley Johnson qualified in P. Sorry, here we go. P9. So
P9. Oh yeah, quali points as well.
He'll get a small amount of points there for qualifying, but yeah, I mean Logan Burton qualified in P4, of course. So that's a bunch of points. So if the point gap will be 2 points, I think Burton will still have it based on qualifying position. If that calculation is correct, I mean we'll keep an eye out. But I mean this has been a good drive from Ashley Johnson. It's been cool, calm, and collected, and he's managed to survive through some of the chaos in this race and has put his car in a good position. At the very least, he'll be taking P2 because, well, most likely taking P2 again. Drop round still to be calculated, but Ashan Lele, of course, with the withdrawal today, won't be scoring any of those points.
Yeah, and that's I feel like going to change a little bit of the table as well. Is that there was a few people who did drop out because of incidents, and that means that the points might be shifted around for quite a few different cars. So the standings will change no matter what a bit. Okay. So points might be just a little bit wrong, but that's all right. Johnston is though approaching still Jamie Conway just a little bit far behind, doing about 2:19s in every lap or so. So that's not bad times to get around the track in, and especially at this later stage of the race where it is still somewhat cooling down. I don't think enough to affect the track too much. It's 26 and 31. We started with, I believe, 27 and 33, so it's not really changed too much.
No, that's right. And I've just been looking at the battle for P1 right now. Ashton Reynolds and Matthew Lamb will stay on board with Ashley Johnson as he chases down Jamie Conboy. But just a little bit of information update here. 11 seconds now the gap. Last lap from Matthew Lamb, a 2:18.5. Last lap from Reynolds, a 2:19.9. So there is nearly a second and a half difference there. Okay, 12 minutes left on the clock. That means we've got 6 or 7 laps remaining. Multiply that out. It's shooting range within 5 or 6 laps. So there could be a real battle on between Reynolds and Lamb at the end of this race. But Reynolds, I mean, this is second to last, or essentially last to first on a no-stop strategy. It's working much better than I was anticipating, if I'm honest.
It has worked really well so far. Because I feel like no matter if he doesn't get first, because there's only 12 minutes left, if he doesn't get first, I feel like there's still a top 3 position there no matter what now, unless like something pretty bad happens. Because I believe Nathan Monks is about 20 seconds behind.
Yeah, 20 or 30 seconds. It's a fair chunk. It's a fair chunk behind P3. So Breno Ellis is guaranteed top 3. Matthew Lamb and Ashton Reynolds all guaranteed top 3. But yeah, Breno Ellis is only 3.5 seconds behind Matthew Lamb. So there's still potential there. He's lapping faster by 0.4 of a second right now is Breno Ellis than Matthew Lamb. So let me check the pit stop time here. Matthew Lamb's been up for 31 minutes, Breno Ellis for 30 minutes. So there's a minute difference there in the tires, and Ashton Reynolds will be low on fuel. He'll be crawling to the end on really worn out tires. So if Matthew Lamb or Breno Ellis does get up to the rear of him, it will be game over very, very quickly.
I believe we have been told that there is no battle. There is no fuel to battle. It's a very strict strat. So I believe Reynolds will just kind of hand it over when Lamb does inevitably catch up. Though it is Matt Lamb is currently still just around 10 seconds behind, and there's only 10.5 minutes left in the race. So it will be pretty close. Very interested to see how this does turn out, because that would also mean Alice, after Lamb gets past, if he does, would mean that Alice also has to get past Reynolds, which, being 3 seconds behind Lamb, might give enough time for Reynolds to stay out ahead.
Yeah, Reynolds had a bad middle sector. He was down by 0.4 of a second. He's found a little bit of time towards the end. At the moment, let's go on board with Jamie Conboy's rear wing and the white Aston Martin of Mosaic Motorsport with Ashley Johnston in the cockpit. Through Blanchimont we go, and it's a big bit of overspeed for the Aston Martin. Will there be a send down the outside? Looks to the outside, looks to the inside. There's no room there, so we'll have to go again. We'll line it up on the exit of the source. Jamie Conboy's car goes sideways again into the bus stop. You just see the body language is so here and there right now. No rear tires. Got hardly any grip at all, desperately trying to get the power down, probably running a higher TC as well, just to help the Nissan get out of these corners. Let's go on board with a replay. It's just going to slip, isn't it? Yeah, no grip. Absolutely no grip. And I think Ashley Johnson, if he gets a good run down here, well, probably won't be into Les Coombs, because we know the Nissan's got great straight line speed. The Aston Martins haven't generally been able to keep up with it, even if they're in the slipstream, which, of course, Ashley Johnston is right now on Convoy. It's all going to be a matter of these next, 15 corners all the way back to the source. That's really going to be the key area for Ashley Johnston to try and make a move. P5 for him will be a lot of points that he needs. But yeah, there we go again. JC, sideways. Best impression of a Tokyo Drift in a GTR. Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss, indeed. But he is doing very well to keep it on the track. Kumar was the one who ran it in split yellow with the nose tyre strategy, but that was also in a Ferrari, which is pretty easy on the tyres, except for the Rouge. But the GTR, especially with JC behind it, it just slides non-stop. So the tyres are probably like very close to just straight bald and just not doing very well, as we do see him slide pretty continuously through most of the corners. And you see Johnston able to just give him that space. It's getting pretty close, but Johnston is doing everything he can to kind of make sure that he's not going to fly into the back of JC, especially when he does slide. So this is great driving for both of them out there to keep it on the track and hopefully not have an incident in the last 8 minutes.
Yeah, one of the reasons why we're seeing this body language from the car of JC is because he's trying to focus on getting the exits. He's trying to get the car turned in, even if it means he has to be counter-steering to the end. High heart rate, lots of sweat in the sim racing cockpit, I am absolutely sure. But even if he has to do that, that's what he needs to do, because he knows he can hold off this Aston Martin down the straights. Just needs to nail the exits on all of these corners. If he manages to do that, he's in a prime position to hold off Ashley Johnson. But as you saw in the braking zones, Johnson's got him covered. Every braking zone, Ashley Johnson's got a million times more grip right now. You'll see a really wide line here from both of them, actually, because Ashley Johnson's so good on the brakes there that he got a bit deep towards the rear wing of Jamie Conboy. And Jamie Conboy now actually at a disadvantage as they head through Eau Rouge and Radion. This is as close as Ashley Johnson has been at this part of the sector. And it's going to be even closer. He's getting maximum effect from that slipstream right now. And it will be a little bit of progress for Ashley, but it's going to have to be a big send if he does try at Liscombe. But yeah, like I said, Jamie Conboy managing his race right now really, really well. Has been looking at what Ashley Johnson's doing, where Ashley is faster and slower, and he's focusing on the right thing. He's not going to have speed through the apex. He's not going to have speed into the corner. Got to focus on the exit. Got to get the power down. That's the only way to defend right now.
Yeah, definitely is the only way for him to do anything. And Johnston is looking, just trying to look for that spot where he can make that position into fifth. And it could be at any point now that he does go for an overtake. But again, even with those almost dead tires, the GTR is just still able to have that incredible acceleration, especially compared to the Aston, which just can't. And you see him slide there, almost going out, which does give enough pace for Johnston to go for the outside.
Oh, Ashley wants it. He might get it. There's still an overlap as they head towards the second part of the Fugler's chicane, but no. It's still going to be JC. He'll have the inside line into turn 15. That's all you need in that corner. Just got to nail the exit. Johnson is going to try the switcheroo. They side by side through here. If they never get it successfully, there's either contact or Ashley Johnson gets it, and there is contact between the two. Will that be a redress of the position? We shall see. It was sort of becoming a matter of when, not if, for a long time here, and it's unfortunate to see that end in contact, but side by side through there. I mean, JC's got to turn in at some point, otherwise he's not going to make the corner, and the car's still going to be sideways.
And that car does love to. And here we go. Here's a replay of just that slide, and you can see the counter steer is just he's straight onto it, and he's able to hold the car in a pretty well around the corner, and it's just given Johnston just enough of that time to catch up and get that overlap for those turns, which ultimately ended in the little collision at the end.
Yep, grip for Convoy. Just like it is in the song, you don't know what you've got till it's gone, and in that case, it was, I've got grip. Oh, no, I suddenly don't have grip. Oh, there it is, little touch on the rear corner of JC's right-hand side rear. Just enough to send them slightly awry, but of course, master of counter-steer there manages to keep the car pointing in the right direction. It's not an easy thing to do with no tyres. Will there be a move back on Ashley Johnson? Probably not at this stage, unless Ashley Johnson decides to redress the position. Oh my goodness, JC. Absolutely unbelievable. Let's see. Oh, big counter steer. Manages to miss the barrier only just. I mean, look, no matter the position here, Jamie Convoy is driving the tires and the wheels off of that GTR, and it's actually just a spectacle. Can't take my eyes off it. It's brilliant.
I think he's just going for style points for the end of the season, which makes sense. Something fun to do. I think he achieved his goals for this season. He got a podium, I believe, and has been driving pretty decent all season. So I think this is just one of those rounds where they're going to still try, but it's just a little bit more relaxed. And it's been a great season across the board. It was also great to see the academy drivers do a race on stream the other day.
Yes, it was a really good race, actually. So we had about 30 drivers on grid from both Academy A and B. Myself and I, and Mia Rose. Mia Rose was there in the commentary box. I had the pleasure of commentating on it, and it was a lot of fun. It was good to see the racing. Obviously, a few incidents, but it's the learning zone. It's the area in which we forge racing drivers here at Octane Online Racing. If you want to sign up, octaneonlineracing.com.au, jump into the Discord, get verified, and start asking questions, because we love questions and we love to teach drivers all about the nuances in sim racing. ACC is such a deep platform when it comes to things to know and ways to improve your driving. There's so much to learn, and when you have a great community around you, it just makes all the difference. So for those of you interested in getting involved in sim racing, Octane Online Racing is the place to be, and it will be continuing into the future. Such a good team here as well, Jaden. Such a good team of people running this place.
Absolutely. And coming into OOR last season, which wasn't that long ago, where I was in Academy, I learned so much, and definitely has helped me with my racecraft and ACC in general. They teach you pretty much everything you could need. You get so, and that is a McLaren going off the track of Horsburgh, which will give Aaron Lee the 10th position there, which Aaron Lee will be very happy with. But it has been a very, very good season. I'm very glad that I joined this league, and I will continue to support them through the Patreon, where you get 5% off at simrigs.com. I will continue to support them through the Patreon for as long as I can.
Absolutely, yeah. The Patreon goes a long way to help supporting the costs of running such a big and awesome league. Reynolds, with 4 litres remaining on board, that is literally 1 lap. Luckily for him, he's just coming across the start-finish line in about 15 seconds' time. So this will be pretty touch and go for him, but I think he'll make it to the end of the race. Should be no problem there. 4.5 seconds is the gap, and at some point we may have to refocus on that because Breno Ellis is also catching up to the rear of Matthew Lamb, all three of them getting rather close. So there is Matthew Lamb coming through the bus stop chicane as Ashton Reynolds just navigated it. There's Breno Ellis as well. This is looking like a fantastic battle starting to brew, but it is the last lap of the race, and I don't think Matthew Lamb has done enough here to get within spitting distance because 2:20 is the lap time from Ashton Reynolds to 18.9, so only 1 second difference, 4 seconds the gap. That's going to have to be a mega lap. JC has binned it. I think JC has binned it, and just before Stavilo as well. We'll see if we can catch a replay of that in a few moments' time. By the way, Austin McNeil has won the pro category for Split Blue. He's not racing today. He's been in chat. Holmes was involved in some incidents earlier on. Unfortunately, retired the car, as did Lele. That means Logan Burton or Ashley Johnson will be your silver championship winner in those categories at the end of this race. This is the gap. It's small. It's getting close. Breno Ellis, 2 seconds the gap. I don't think that'll be enough either. Jaden, 20 seconds left. This is going to be an amazing run for Ashton Reynolds. I think he's done it.
I think he has. Oh, there's JC. Oh, just the tires getting loose, and then yeah, that gives enough time for the other cars to catch up. He's very good at that counter steer and keeping it off the wall. But I will continue with what we were saying back on track. Reynolds is running an incredible race, and if he's able to just hold it out for the rest of this lap, without spinning or crashing or running out of fuel, he should be on for the win of the final race of the series, as we are currently in Breno Ellis's car, who is also catching up to Matt Lamb just a little bit, slowly at a time. So it could be a very great finish here for Ashton Reynolds. And that is very close. And he's running on 2 liters left, coming around for the back end. He should make it. He should make it now. Unless all of a sudden his engine starts leaking the oil and fuel everywhere and everything goes AWire, but he should make it.
Yep, that's right. I mean, we were piling up the multiplier there for the commentator's curse, and something was going to happen at some point. But I think Ashton Reynolds, safe pair of hands. No, don't apologize. We both are completely at fault for that. Ashton Reynolds from P24 on the grid to first place. Oh, wow. That was nearly a race-ending incident there. A rejoin from the Aston Martin. Ashton Reynolds across the line takes the checkered flag, and the number 28 Mercedes. Matthew Lamb will be absolutely gutted with that. And 2 out of 3 for McLaren so far. We've got split red coming up. Breno Ellis will take home a well-deserved P3 in this race, but Ashton Reynolds from the back of the grid with a no-stop strategy, had nearly no fuel left in the tank at the end of this race, and tyres that have gone a full 90 minutes. We saw the effect that had on the car of JC, who pushed a little bit harder than Ashton Reynolds through this race, who took it rather easy, took the overtaking opportunities when they came his way. And what a win. What a strategy execution there by Ashton Reynolds. Precision, I would say, is the word. Across the line, Monks will win the silver category today, but he won't be in contention for the silver championship in season 8 here in Split Blue. JC will come home P5. McKellar just behind him after that nasty little off-track excursion at turn 15. JC providing the spectacle today. I think he has the most camera time here easily.
This absolutely, as it's being said in the chat, absolute mad lad. That is an incredible strategy that has worked out in the end for Ashton Reynolds, especially starting from so far back to doing this. It's been very great. And I do want to say thank you to everybody for watching Split Blue for the ACC Simrigs Sprint Series Season 18 for OOR. As we see the cars all chilling lined up. That is a beautiful bunch of cars. It looks like maybe 1 or 2 hit a wall. But this has been an incredible season and incredible driving from all the drivers. So thank you all for coming out and driving here and enjoy some donuts out on the track.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's the calmest post-race chill session at La Source I've ever seen in my life. And now that obviously has changed for the few moments that we did indeed have. Your winner today, Ashton Reynolds. Big congratulations, but bigger congratulations to Austin McNeil, who takes out the Pro Championship in Split Blue. Big congratulations. He's in chat. Would have been nice to see some donuts out on track from you today, Austin. But nonetheless, big congratulations. What a season, and congratulations for a brilliant drive across all 8 rounds. That's 8 out of 8. It's all done. And truth be told, what a brilliant season. Fantastic lineup of races, fantastic driving. Maybe a little bit less so at the start of the season. Everyone's shaking off the rust, so to speak, but it got better and better and better. And at the end, to have a championship finish at Spa, absolutely brilliant.
Exactly. And we are moving over to Split Red, who is being commentated by Tom Maloney and Jamie Conboy, who just raced. So Jamie Conboy will be here in a minute. But how are you doing tonight, Tom?
I'm very good. I'm very, very good. It was pretty cool to see Ashland pull off that no-stopper. That was one hell of a benchmark to set for this race coming up. We're watching Carl Johnson here in the Porsche running around Spa. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to this.
Should be a good one. I think Jamie Conboy will be jumping in soon. I think he's making a double coffee. Not sure if he'll be able to send you one, Tom, but...
if you're watching his stream, you'll know he has other needs to attend to. So he'll be here soon. I can cover a minute of qualifying by myself, I think.
Fantastic. All right, well, a big thanks to Benjamin Hignett. Big thanks to you, Jaden, as well. Thank you, chat, for jumping on board with us for Split Blue. And final word to you, Jaden, before we sign out. And good luck with Split Red, Tom.
Thank you very much.
And thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody, and enjoy Split Red.
Alrighty. Alright. Welcome to Split Red, everyone. We are jumping straight into the very, very end of qualifying. As mentioned before, Jamie Conboy will be here shortly for his dulcet tones, but unfortunately until then, you're going to put up with me solo. So we're just following here. Mr. Rally, he's half a second up coming into Pouon. That half a second is going to get him pretty close to pole position, which is currently held by Lucas Keys in the Lexus. Lucas needs a very good result, and for JP Sonicus to have a slightly less good result if he wants to clinch this championship. Shady Samuel just got himself onto the front row, less than half a tenth off Lucas Keys. We're going to go back on here with Rally. He's losing a bit of time on the exit of Stavelo, and he's going to just keep paying the price all the way up this straight. All the way out to Blanchimont. That the Delta's going to keep bleeding off. He's currently not got enough time to make it to pole position, unless he's got some time to find in the bus stop chicane. We'll keep following the BMW all the way through Blanchimont. Easy flat. And then just parking the car over on the left-hand side for the bus stop chicane. Brakes a bit later, finds a bit of time on the way in. We've got a yellow flag, car stopped after qualifying. He's gained 2/10 on the way into the bus stop, and he's losing a bit on the exit. So we'll see if the Delta is playing nice. And no, it's not. Just 1/100th of a second off Lucas Keys. Lucas currently here. We've got an invalid lap. I'm not sure if that's just a Kunos thing or if he's still going, but if he's got another 2/10 in the bag, that'll make pole very comfortable. JP Sonicus, your championship leader, currently starting P4 behind Shady Samuel and Rally and Lucas Keys. We'll see if this lap's valid for Lucas. He's found a couple of tenths. Just eases that Lexus. Tries not to scrub any speed off with the front tyres. Opens up Blanchimont, keeps the throttle flat out. 270 k's an hour, and then he'll slam on the brakes. Bring the car down all the way into first gear for the bus stop chicane, one of the most awkward corners on the calendar. Gets that nice and clean though. He's going to extend that lead at the top of the times, but it was invalid, so he's just showing off. We'll see what Ben Floyd's got. He's got a 10.5 in him. That's not going to make any dents on terms of his position, but unless he's got a lot of time to find in the bus stop. We've seen a couple of cars now finding a lot of time on the way in and not really sort of keeping on the way out. We'll see if Ben Floyd can keep that, and he absolutely can't. And that'll solve P5. So there's your grid. Lucas Keys on pole ahead of Rally, Samuel, Sonicus, Floyd, Sweet. Zach Warren is your lead silver driver ahead of Carl Johnson. Scott Rochford in the top 10, the lead Pro-Am. Brad Palmer, P10. And then your lead AM driver is Rob Rickley in the Bentley in P17. And we'll take a run for the last time. Lucas didn't manage to get over his chocolate livery, but it looks pretty good anyway. So pretty glad he's left that on there. We'll take a run up the grid for the last time here for Split Red. Get your predictions into chat. What's going to happen? Are we going to get a safety car? We haven't had a safety car yet here at Spa, and it's one of those tracks where they tend to happen a lot. So we're kind of due. It's a bit like the F1 season. I think everyone's been a bit scared of the big sticks that were handed out at the start, and finally managed to sort their racecraft out. So get your predictions into chat. That test came up. So it's working, Ben. And you're right, Swampy, about 0.04 covering the top 4 is incredibly close. That was very, very impressive. Obviously, Lucas had a bit of time in the bank. We saw with that invalid lap. But less than half a tenth covering the top 4 is always a good thing to see, especially over such a long lap like we have here at Spa. There's not any Mercedes here, unfortunately. Ramez Samuel is unfortunately not racing, and having seen what Ashland did in the last race, I think he'll be kicking himself a little bit, because knowing that car can do what it can do, I think he would have loved to be able to try and see if he could pull it off as well. Just this final part of the grid, Pete Viney there on the left-hand side. We've got a couple of Porsches back here. We do have a Mercedes. So I wonder if that car has seen what Ashton Reynolds managed to do. Yeah, the Milo Kit Kat Lambo is absolutely back. Can always rely on Mitch Bendyke to pull off an absolute stunner of a livery. So that's Brad Gosling there in the Mercedes. So hopefully he saw what Ashland managed to do in the last race, and if you try and pull it off again. We've got the Braun GP liveried Mustang there, and then Rob Underwood starting at the back. I believe that is... Oh no, that's Mike Crick, sorry, Mike Crick. So 25 seconds to race start, and it's a bit of a long old formation lap. So plenty of time for chat to get your predictions in. Callum predicting the Lexus to win. That's pretty simple and straightforward. Anyone else got anything exciting? Where are we expecting, JP Sonicus P4 currently leading the championship by not a huge amount, but Lucas doing everything he can. Will Lucas take the lead after this final race for Split Red, or will JP do just enough? I haven't got the math in front of me to work out who needs to do what, and drop around just make that almost impossible anyway. But if anyone can let us know what positions will do what. Pole position's given Lucas 5 points and Peach 2, so that's already a little bit of a dent as the cars roll away for the formation lap. Cricky's going for last to first. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks for all your hard work maintaining the servers across the season as well. The Chief Technology Officer of Octane Online Racing does an immense amount of work in the background, keeping these servers up and running, doing an incredible job. So thank you, sir. Always good to see you in chat as well. Certainly one of the more picturesque tracks on the calendar. I've always... it's one of those things that makes you want to go to the place that's at, I reckon, Spa. Just all the trees, and to attend a race in the forest, I reckon it'd be really, really cool. So, one of those things. And he's managed to make it in. Jamie Conboy, welcome back from your coffee break. Can you hear us?
What?
Hello.
Hello? What's happening? Sorry. Yes. Split Red! Woohoo!
How cool.
What have I missed?
A formation lap. Lucas Keys on pole.
Oh, standard. Where's old man? Oh, P4.
Yeah, 0.04 of a second covering the top 4.
Nice. That's what you want to see. Hang on, let me fix this push to talk thing. Let me just squawk into the background.
Let her squawk. Last race of the season. Bring her on for a stint.
I tried to get her to do my pit stop. She was busy, but otherwise I was definitely going to do my pit stop because I needed to pee that whole fucking race. God damn. All right, the shackles are off for the last round, so if I swear off a little bit, I'll apologize. I'll apologize to Mel and Matt and Glenn. But yeah, how good is having a public holiday tomorrow, and you can go for like a guilt-free 9:30 at night coffee?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good, and you can have 2 or 3 extra beers after work and not feel too bad about it. It is the worst excuse for a public holiday in the world, but...
Yeah, it really is. Thanks, Dan Andrews.
Love your work, mate. Best thing you did.
Relahi P2, that's a good effort. I think the BMW is going to struggle for tyres, though. Shady Samuel recovering from poor last week, so he's up there in P3. That's good. Floyd and Sweet have been at the hip all week, all fucking season on that third row, 5th and 6th.
Nice knowing the bloke next to you and knowing he's your teammate. So he's one of the less likely people to just cut straight across your nose. But we're going to go racing now. The car's going to lead themselves through the bus stop for the last time at this pathetic speed. And as punishment for turning up late, Jamie Conboy is going to run you through the race start.
Wait, I don't even have YouTube chat up yet, but I'm ready for the race start. They've got a whole nother corner. I need YouTube chat. I need you guys to support me through this next 90 minutes because it's going to be, let's be honest, it's going to be pretty long. Who else is going? Oh, Raw, Annie. Carlos, 8. Annie, 9. Warren, another good performance up there in P7. Palmer, P10. Saxon Hayes, P11. His last race in the Audi. He's looking to change cars next season.
Good riddance.
Matty Asplin, hashtag not last. Is that the Nissan of Crick in the very, very back? Has he got a qualifying
It
ban, or
is.
is it just chosen to start from the back, maybe? Not sure. Anyway, bugger all that. We're going to get a green flag very, very soon. You've got Lucas Keys on the right of your screen with Relahi on the left. And Peach following Relahi on the ideal line through a Rouge, I reckon, is on that left-hand side as they get the green flag. Relahi's going to have a bit of overspeed, but then Peach is going to get the run and tow on him. They all filter through there pretty cleanly. Yep, no issues. Play on, no safety cars. Been pretty good from all splits, if I remember correctly. I don't think there's been any safety cars this season. Anyway, Relahi now tucked underneath the Lexus, but the Lexus with very good legs down the straights, probably not under any fear of pass. Although Relahi's going to send it around the outside. No grip out there, sir. And they will go through 1, 2, 3, 4 as they started. Although Peach under a bit of pressure now from Floyd, who's got the nose on the inside and has the overlap, but didn't quite find the cornering traction he needed. So they are still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as they started. Pudley's moved his way up into P10. Annie's had a bad start, back to P12. Saxon remains P11. That's a pretty bog standard start to split red. Not bad, very nice. No yellow flags and pretty clean all round.
Good to see. I was kind of hoping for a safety car because these races with a bit of chaos, you know, if you give people a chance to run maybe an hour and 15 minutes, a lot of cars will be able to do an hour 20 on a full tank without as much effort as poor Ashton Reynolds put in the last race.
What a bloody good effort that was,
it
doing
was
the
a
science for us
monster
from
effort.
Ashland. Great effort. If he's in chat, that's hats off to you, mate.
Shady is wagging the absolute tail off that Mustang, and Lucas Keys is checked out in front. That is very wide from JP Sonicus. That'll be a speed token, and he'll hope that Bentley's got the legs up the straight because that is a Mustang of Ben Floyd right behind him. He's going to not quite get overlapped through Blanchimont. Both of these guys incredibly experienced. We'll see if Floyd's feeling a bit of a send up the inside into the bus stop. JP defends the inside, which gives Floyd the opportunity to hang it around the outside, keeps that overlap. We'll see if he gets a good enough exit because that'll give JP the inside for La Source, but he's managed to get a bit better exit and has pulled clear of the Mustang. So we've now got Luke's Keys kind of checking out in front, and Rally now is a little bit of a cork in the bottle for Shady Samuel.
Yeah, Peach looked pretty racy on at least the first half of that first lap. He compromised his line a few times and showed the nose. And that actually sort of cost him, as you said, they were coming into the last sector, and he's come under a lot of pressure. But a very experienced campaigner is our Peach and hangs on to it. So that is Ciuffatelli up the rear end of the Bentley. It's going to be a little penalty for him. This is Relay under some pressure from Shady Samuel. The Ford down the straight is really good, but then into the braking zone, maybe not so good. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit there from Shady. That is going to be an overtake off track, I would suggest. He's either going to have to redress that, which I think he's going to do here. No. Maybe he's going to go on the outside here.
Page is right behind Rally there, so he's going to have to try and let Rally through without letting JP through at the same time. That'll be challenging.
Yeah, Page will know it too. Page will he'll be red hot on that.
The race director as well would probably have his eye on that and be telling Shady what to do and probably get it done sooner rather than later. Shady is absolutely waiting his sweet time, and that's just letting Lucas Keys sail off into the distance.
What needs to happen? I don't know if you've run through the championship table. What needs to happen here? I think Peach needs a win and Lucas P3 or something like that. Well, no, it's the other way around. Other way around. So we could be on here. We could very much have a championship battle right down to the wire here in Split Red. That's what we want to see.
Absolutely. I think that if Shady has to give that position back, then that might get things a little bit more uncomfortable for that championship, make it very, very close. So he's shown no evidence of wanting to do it so far, and he's actually kind of cleared away from Rally a little bit. So I wonder if he's just banking on maybe copying a 5-second penalty and getting as far up the road as he can. As JP is going to have a look around the outside of Rally into the bus stop, gets a nice bit of overlap. We'll see if he can keep it for the second part, and we're going to try and go 3 wide here actually.
Yeah, that's Ben Floyd, who has also looked particularly quick over the first couple of laps here. Relahi kind of a cork in the bottle a little bit. He's been under pressure for the first couple of laps, and Peach is looking very racy, and in fact just goes bang down the inside. I think Relahi opened that door. I'm not sure whether that was intentional, but Relahi looked really slow through turn 1 there, and Peach said, "Thank you, mother, for the rabbits. I'll have some of that." Floyd sneaks on through as well, so Relahi down to P5. This is a replay of Shady Samuel getting the overtake done, but then not completing it within the track limits. So you would
He was
expect
already completely ahead before the braking zone.
Yeah, no, I'm not having that. He got to the braking zone at way too much speed and didn't get anywhere close to staying on track. So look, I'm not a steward, I'm not a race director, but I'm with you. I think that is a 5-second penalty incoming. If indeed there is something, it'll only be small, but it's got to be there. You can't be doing that. This is Relahi, as we said, around the outside of turn 1. I don't know whether he let Peach through there or what, but he just seemed to open the door.
And Lucas Keys is a comfortable lead at the front. Has copped a bit of a commentator's curse because he's now within half a second of Shady Samuel in P2. So maybe Shady's going to try and clear Lucas as quickly as he can and just keep running away. This is going to be a pretty spicy championship fight if these gaps maintain what they are for the next 84 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, Lucas doesn't want to let Shady through at all. If he's going to win this championship, he needs to hang on to P1, especially now that Peach has moved his way up to P3. So I wouldn't expect it to be an easy task for Shady to get past Lucas. He'll be defending with his teeth gritted, that's for sure. Floyd with the fastest lap, we said before. He was looking mighty quick and has demonstrated that by pinching the purple point. So it's another one that may come into play later on after the pit stops. If they get onto some fresh tyres and some lower fuel, that fastest lap point may come into play as well.
Do we really want to talk about fastest lap points? And or lack thereof?
Is there no fastest lap points?
No, there is. But you know, your mate Lando has
Oh, come, get off! He's just won a race from pole. We're past it. Move on. Shady
Samuel, purple lap. That toe from the Lexus is doing him a couple of favours. But JP's up into P3 now, so I don't have the points table up, and I'm going to try and dig him out now, but I've got no idea sort of how. My brain's way too slow at 9:45 to try and do any maths and working out who needs to finish where. That is a big old waggle from Shady on the way up Eau Rouge, and he has to cut through the top of Radion. So that'll be a track cut, and I think Lucas will find a little bit more of a gap now that Shady sort of had to lift and get out of that.
Really inconsistent track limits here in terms of whether they give you a penalty or not. So I know we're going to see some horses nice and deep and under brakes here from Corey Sweet. In fact, I reckon he's got this done. Relahi must be on full fuel because he's just got no pace. Everyone's sort of swallowing him up. He is making it very hard here for Corey Sweet, though, getting the elbows out. Not necessarily pushing him wide. I think it was a bit of rubbing his racing, but Corey Sweet coming off second best there. But yeah, I think Relahi might be on full fuel or at least an alternate strat because he just doesn't seem to have the pace that he had in qualifying.
Unless he's on a fuel-saving map, is the other potential. I don't know, not too familiar with the BMW. I don't know if it does have a fuel-saving map that might enable him to do these 90 minutes in one fell swoop, but it's pushing Corey Sweet into the clutches of Carl Johnson. And we've got an onboard here of Corey Sweet's view of this little battle. A couple of bumps, another bump, get off track, go on, get out of there.
Yeah, that's all fair there. I think Corey didn't leave him a lot of room on the inside, and then he got bumped on the outside. That's just as good as they could have done through there, I think. That's the Ciuffatelli incident that we saw before. The Porsche getting into the back of the Bentley in the middle sector earns him a 15-second penalty. The first of the evening. Had plenty last night. That timing board was lit up with little red lights all night last night.
Absolutely. It was not what stewards want to see, but probably better for us viewers to watch. At the moment, it's been pretty clean, and it was pretty... I didn't catch the start. I don't know if there were many penalties served in pit stops before I got home, but it seemed like it was a reasonably clean race apart from your final 10 minutes in split blue as well.
Well, no, not quite, actually. Before the pit stops, there was all sorts of argy-bargy going on between, I think, Burton and McLaughlin, and a few others were involved. I don't want to name names because I don't quite remember who it was, but there was a lot of number calling, and Gibbo got his dad voice out at one point. There was flashing of lights, and there was nothing but numbers, please, and it was getting pretty argy-bargy there in the first half of split blue.
Kind of, as much as it's against the rules and we can't promote it, I don't mind seeing a bit of passion. Don't mind seeing a bit of passion at all, especially if everyone sort of hears Gibbo pulling out the dad voice saying, "All right, tone it back." If everyone respects that and moves on, that's good for the sport.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was fun to listen to. Yeah, I was sort of in my own little spot at the time, and I had nothing going on, so it was just it was nice to listen to. The guys back there having a bit of fun with it, and it's been really respectful all season in the split blue chat room, and so yeah, I think I'm with you, and I think they would be too. That it was just all fair love and war and play on, all that kind of stuff. Saxon Hayes here in this beautiful Turkish Delight livery, still running this around probably for the final time. As I said before, he's looking to move car next season. I think he's fallen in love with the GTR. Tom, what are your thoughts on that?
I'll be interested to see the brainworms crawling out of his nose round one next.
It's got its lovers and it's got its haters, the GTR, and you are not a lover.
Well, I don't necessarily hate it. Another Turkish Delight GTR. Yeah, well, if he manages to make that work, I'll be more okay with it.
That's the superior Turkish Delight that he's got going there too. That is a proper livery. I'm a big fan of that one. Turkish Delight #1. Didn't see the team name until now. Annie under a lot of pressure there from Bendyke, just one car behind this one. Bendyke has had a pretty pacey sort of season and is just sitting here behind Annie, who, as we said before, was P9 at the start, but obviously had a few issues on lap 1 and might have got swallowed up the straight. Now falling back to P12, currently P3 in Pro-Am, but yeah, under a lot of pressure from Bendyke, who, as I said before, has had a pretty solid season.
Yeah, Bendyke's one of those guys you can always rely on to sort of be in the thick of a battle. I don't think I've ever seen him just hot lapping on his own, which might be his thing, and that's good if it is. We got a little note from the Angel Whisperers in the back end of us saying that Raleigh, Rockford and Jensen are all on full tanks of petrol. So that probably explains why Scott has fallen back a little bit and why Raleigh's fallen back a little bit. And where's Zach Jensen? Down there in P20. So he's currently P3 in the AM race as well. So as far as we can tell, they're the only 3 on full tanks. Everyone else probably aiming to split this race in half. And John, I believe it's P3. I don't know if that's still the case after the qualifying result. And pending fastest laps and all that other rubbish. So I think P3 is the minimum if Lucas wins the race, is my understanding.
Yeah, I don't have my abacus out. I've got the table in front of me and I'm looking through. I'm trying my best to try and pull this apart for you, but I've got no hope at this time of night trying to work out what the implications of the fastest lap are and the qualifying points and all that sort of garbage. So you're just going to have to accept that it's probably P1 and probably P3. We reckon that's around about it. So as it stands at the moment, with Lucas Keys having the fastest lap, let's just say that fastest lap is what wins Lucas the championship. How about that?
That'll do. The gap at the moment is 33 points between JP and Lucas. It's 150 for a win. It's 5 points for a pole position. And I think it's 3 points for a fastest lap. We've got a replay here. I saw a yellow flag. Don't tell me it's Saxon Hayes.
Oh, no. Oh, we just talked him up. Come on. Christ. Get out of that bloody Audi. Oh, my God. Oh, okay. All right.
That's a tough place to be.
Has got his eyes on the track map. That's good. There we go. That's that 5 seconds you were talking about, Tom. And I reckon that's just about fair for that off-track overtake, which promotes Peach at least at this very early stage of the race into P2. So that is a very interesting 5-second penalty indeed. Ben Dyke still all over the rear bumper of Annie here.
And he's parking that McLaren everywhere it needs to be. That Lambo's not the fastest thing in the world in a straight line. And everyone kind of hopes it was, because then you don't have to look at it for as long. But he's going to have to try and get Scott to whiff and exit a little bit and absolutely nail it on his side if he needs to, if he's going to set anything up over the next couple of laps. You put that wand away, son.
No, I'm not finished yet. We'll get a couple more before the season's over, Tom. We'll get a couple more. Just noticed that Rob Underwood doing very nicely up there in P13 on the Pro-Am podium at the moment, but currently being led by Pete Chalmers, who's had a very up and down season. He's been at the back of the field a fair bit, Pudley, and has been involved in a few wars, and I think he got a qualifying ban at one point too, so it's not been the strongest season from our man Pete Chalmers, but currently leading Pro-Am in this one is a bloody good effort. And P10 overall, so enjoying Spa as Brad Gosling picks up 15 seconds as well.
Absolutely, and I think he went a little bit wide, and I think that's sort of him going a little bit deep into Lake Coombe was kind of what put Saxon off and put him around. If you want to try and find any excuse that's not a commentator's cursing going around. Following Carl Johnson, who's leading the silver race, still keeping touch with Corey Sweet, who's just fallen off the back of Raleigh a little bit. So a little bit of more work to do if Carl wants to find another spot, but I think he is wrapped up the silver class. Yeah, he's 100 points ahead of, 109 points ahead of David Bartlett, who's not here. So that's a silver class championship wrapped up for Mr. Johnson, which is a mighty fine effort as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll want to finish the job too tonight, though. Currently P1 in silver, P7 overall, so he'll want to finish this season strong. But yeah, I think we talked about it last week or maybe the week before. This man will be Carl Prosen next season. There's no way he hangs on to this silver class anymore. He's demonstrated he is well and truly capable of holding on to this Porsche in the wet, when it's sideways, on dead tyres, in all sorts of reasons. He's performed very strong this season. So that's your silver class winner right there. And as I said, up in a pro next season for Carlos.
And I think this result will put Brad Palmer into P2 in the championship as well, because he's obviously Dave Bartlett's not racing at the moment. The one of the 3 Bentleys in this split is no longer here, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame. Carl goes a little bit deep into the source, and that'll pique the eyes of Brad Palmer here, because he's now right on the bum of that Porsche, and we go up the flat out Eau Rouge, which is easy flat. And we'll wait to sort of see how much of a run Brad gets all the way up the uphill straight. Brad taking a bit more of a chunky curb out of Radion, and we'll see if he gets a bit of a run. Carl goes defensive very, very early indeed.
Yeah, he's running less downforce because he's a hawk, is Palmer. That's not funny. He's got a little bit of overspeed, but it's not quite enough, and Carlos hangs on for now, but he's going to be careful coming out of turn 1 there, Carlos, on the next lap, that's for sure. Low downforce because he's a bird. Get out of here. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, because birds generate lift.
Yeah, so I thought it was funny, but I don't know. Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing. 293, who's that all the way out the back there?
293. That's Saxon Hayes. I think he might have jumped into the pits to get rid of those tyres after his little whoop at the top of the hill. Sorry,
Matty Asplin. 293. He started hashtag not last, so he's obviously made an error somewhere as well. Not bad for a debut season from Matt Asplin. He's tried his best. He's learning a lot, in his own words, and he's probably going to change cars next season too, I think. What else is going on? Pro-Am leader, Ramez Samuel. Where's he tonight? Is he out there?
No, he's not, which is a shame. And then Adeniaki is also not here. So both the Pro-Am leaders not here. Scott Rochford is within 70, 60 points. Yeah, that'll do. Within 60 points of the Pro-Am leader. So if Scott can work his way up the field a little bit further, that'll put that little battle into a bit of a microscope for us to all to look at towards the end of the race as well.
Wonder if any team orders come out there too, if indeed it does get to the last 10 minutes or so. And the Kovac Strategy Center has worked out that Annie needs one more position. I wonder if Pudley just gets asked to move over very kindly there and help his mate Annie pinch the Pro-Am victory. That'd be interesting.
Absolutely. Carl Johnson again going a bit wide at La Source. Hasn't quite worked out the braking markup. And I don't think Brad's quite as close as he was last lap. He's still pretty close though. And he's probably got a bit more time to get a bit of a run on the Porsche all the way up the straight. Get a bit more overspeed. We'll see. Carl again goes defensive very, very early. We've got a little bit of rubber banding. We're catching up. We're catching up. We're getting some overlap now. We're going to go side by side into Lecombe chicane. Both cars get on the brakes. And there's a bit of a love tap. Carl is wagging that tail. And that has just invited Zach Warren into the battle as well. We're going to have 3 Porsches all battling it out in the downhill part of this track. How good.
The sideways slip angle defense from Carl Johnson there. Getting all sorts of hands crossed over as they came into the chicane, and that sort of just helped him through, really, because Brad had nowhere to go. Carlos had parked his car sideways, horizontally across the track. Have a look at him here as he gets the rear end out here, and then really Brad just helps him straighten it up again. Not that Carlos needs any help. Look at those hands do work as he manages to hang on to that P8. Although Palmer's through. Oh no, Palmer is through on the timing board, but certainly not on track. We must have missed something while we went to a replay there, because yeah, the timing board has Palmer in front there.
Yeah, it would have been at the sector lines just in the braking zone for that first chicane. I think Brad had enough overlap to be ahead, technically.
Oh, right. Okay. No, you're probably right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just on the entry into that little
good
right,
timing
left,
board.
right. How good is it just waiting for 2 updates a lap?
It's even worse on this track too. The delta on this track is all sorts of buggery sometimes.
A racing game that doesn't get timing right. Where's Sean Muller? Correct. Glenn, there's 3 Porsches in a row here. You'll be having the absolute time of your life. If you are awake, I know you've been a little bit unwell, which is a shame to hear, but 3 Porsches on screen is surely the best possible content for you.
Not the only one who's been unwell too. Poor old Muller. I think everyone's had something in the last couple of weeks, at least down here.
Oh yeah, I think our work had it like 2 weeks ago or something. We've sort of managed to shuffle it all out. Callum's saying after 45 minutes the Delta gets bugged. I think it's just always bugged, because I definitely have crossed the line with a 10th green and it still is slower. Well,
yeah, it's
to the 24-hour.
Again, Palmer being asked to go around the outside here and not having anywhere near the overlap that he had on the last occasion, so Carlos is going to hang on to that pretty easy, but
he's not going to hang on to his tyres at this rate. No
way. We've seen him sideways all season long, but this is very early for the Porsche to be behaving like this. So I think you're right. Here
we go.
Underwood down the inside of Rockford.
Yep,
and he's going to have
Bendyke's through as well.
Yeah, he is too. And he's maybe going to leave it down the inside here. No, he doesn't. He's going to back out of that, but that's going to put him under pressure from Ben. No, Bendyke's all the way through. That's Mike Reel. In the other Lambo.
Fresh off a very good result last week was Mike Reel. A little bit further down the pack this time, but still an hour and 7 minutes to try and do a bit of work. And there's plenty of cars very close together at this stage of the race still. Still wagging that tail. Come on, Carl. There are some people who say that hitting but not changing tyres is the strat. I'm pretty convinced Carlos doesn't believe it.
Yeah, I went for that strat, and I think it probably could have worked if I made an error. Here we go. This is how Bendyke got past Rockford. Around the outside, but look at it. And he defending very early on down the inside here, and probably being a little bit too generous there with his entry, which just allowed Bendyke to open up his corner a little bit and get it done. Palmer into the bus stop again around the outside, and again just not able to get that done. Carlos defending like a lion, one might say.
Well, hey, I understood that reference.
And as you said, Warren here as well is just sort of fishing around the back, and in fact down the inside here of turn 1, just had a little bit of a look there. Not sure whether he had to get off the gas there as he hit the apex because Palmer was a bit late getting there. So Warren certainly looking interested as well. I'll tell you what, just at the back there is Pudley. We said Chalmers before having a good race in the leader Pro-Am. He's slowly catching up to the back of these guys as they continue their battle. So here we go, take 3 of... this is not a replay, is it? No, it's not. This is Palmer again. Going to be asked to go around the outside into the first chicane, and then he's got more overlap this time. But again, Carlos just getting that rear end out, and it's starting to get a little bit rude at this point. And Palmer's just saying, you know what, I'm going to take that, and we'll let the steward sort it out. And I reckon, you know what, he's probably entitled to that one. That's a bit different to the shady one because Carlos has a couple of times just sent him out there. Palmer doesn't think so and has gone and redressed there. But that is a spot, it's a tough spot to redress because, as you said before, Tom, he's now right under pressure from Warren, who doesn't quite get it done. But it's, it's difficult to redress in that spot for sure.
And all this biffery is, as you said, brought Pete Chalmers right onto the back of Warren as well. So it's 3 Porsches and an Italian Audi, I'm going to call it, because that's funny. Pete Chalmers still sniffing around the back of all these. Normally, the guy who's almost impossible to pass now being asked to sort of try and get past this train of Porsches. This will be interesting to watch because he's obviously just been watching these guys have a battle. He's been watching Carl wag the tail of that Porsche. He'll be knowing now that Carlos isn't necessarily getting as best an exit out of these sort of really critical corners to get a good exit from, and just waiting for these cars in front to really back themselves up. You know, we're going to go side by side through Blanchimont here at this point because Palmer's got a really good run on Carlos here. And not quite enough to get side by side here, but he's absolutely going to be close enough. Runs it really wide on the exit. Pete Chalmers right at the inside, right at the back of Zach Warren. All these cars moving around, really hard to tell what's going on. And Pete Chalmers going to sneak up the inside here of Zach Warren. Hasn't quite got the move done yet. We're going to go side by side down the pit straight. This is pretty cool racing, and Mitch Bendyke there is also now coming into view.
This is good stuff. Yeah, these 4 are all being respectful so far. Pudley being very ultra respectful there and giving plenty of room on the inside to Warren, who takes that, and that allows Bendyke to just sort of sneak his way into a side-by-side position with Pudley, but very smartly backs out of that before they get into Eau Rouge and ready on. And in fact, that's not it from Bendyke. No, that's a bit sad because he was the one who wanted to do his best to avoid any sort of nastiness into Eau Rouge there. I think he backed out of that and didn't go side-by-side with Pudley, but then in doing so, just didn't get back onto the racing line quick enough, and then took all sorts of that inside curb, and that's just flicked that rear end all the way around. He's done pretty well to keep that out of the wall too, but that is an F in chat from our man Diabols. And Bendyke now will find himself back in that next battle pack, which you can see on the track map has started to form. And as you said before, Tom, there are some good battles all across the track still so far.
Absolutely, and it wasn't quite as spectacular, if anyone remembers, the Ferrari last night, which I think managed a 72 rotation before it hit the ground again. That was a proper Beyblade. Highly recommend jumping back through the stream yesterday and trying to find that, because that was spectacular. If anyone's got a link to a clip of that, it was Jusman.
Yes, yeah, it was.
And our esteemed broadcaster, Ben Higdon, unfortunately looped it, trying not to add further rotations to the Ferrari.
I've never ever seen a car spin that much in ACC. It was quite incredible. If you haven't seen it, honestly, go back and find the Jusman spin last night, because it was something else. I've never seen it. Almost created a black hole. It was going that fast.
And I wouldn't want that to happen to me in real life. That was, I felt dizzy watching it. Let alone.
Armour again here, plenty of overspeed, and he's just got him at the wrong spot, because as you come through Blanchimont there really is only one line, and he's got a lot of nice overspeed in a couple of places, but Carlos has just got this car in the right spot, and Brad Palmer still struggling to find a way through. He's clearly quicker. Without a doubt, if he gets through Carlos here, we're going to see Palmer pull away. It looks like he's got the rear end of that Porsche sorted out just a little bit better than Carlos's. So Carlos is probably a little bit pointier throughout the middle sector, but everywhere else, Palmer's just getting better exits, and he's got more speed. So if he gets through him, he is going to pull away. But for now, Carlos, as I said before, just putting this Porsche in all the right places and hanging on for dear life. Palmer hopefully stays patient, because this is a great battle to watch.
I reckon Palmer's running a little bit less of that massive rear wing on the back of that Porsche as well, because I feel like Carlos has just got a bit more confidence through the middle part of the track, and he's just bleeding time down the straights. I saw car number 420, Sam O'Brien, was around at the exit of Blanchimont, which is a pretty strange place to loop your car, so hopefully all is okay. He's jumped into the pit lane probably to get rid of some nicely flat spotted tyres if he spun it at top speed like he probably did. We'll keep following this battle because there's just so many cars in such a short little gap. You know, Corey Sweet's managed to gap nearly 10, just over 10 seconds now from, you know, Carlos was very recently, about 10, 15 minutes ago, right on the back of Corey Sweet, and this battling is just let Corey roll away. And, you know, I think Carlos will be hoping he can just sort of put his foot down and get his head down and try and make amends on that gap now.
Yeah, well, we've been watching this. The gaps up the front haven't really deviated all that much, and Shady's just 1.3 off Lucas, and Peach is just 1.3 behind him. So, yeah, not a lot going on up at the front. Lucas still with that purple lap, but they've all started to wear their tyres in now, so we're not going to see that purple lap improve for a while. So not a lot going on up the front.
This is a run. He's going to, I think he's timed this pretty well actually, because he's going to get a bit more overspeed on the exit of Blanchimont, and that'll force Carlos to choose one side or the other. He's going to pick the right-hand side and force Brad around the outside. Brad just hasn't got the guts to go a little bit deep under braking, force Carlos to stay tight through the first part of the bus stop. And we're going to have another lap. Zach Warren now climbing over the back of the bird liveried Porsche. Don't know why I have to think about that for so long, but you know.
So I think what he's got to do is he's got to get the run on Kemmel, but then he's got to be a bit more patient as they come into Lacombe, because he's got a bit more speed on his way into Lacombe, and having done that a couple of times, he's had to come across a parked Carlos. So if he's a bit more patient into Lacombe and sort of takes a bit of pace out of the entry, and then gets the exit right, he can sort of have a really red hot crack at getting side by side into 7 and then down into the hairpin at 8. So that would be my suggestion. He hasn't got the run this time, but that's about this. I think this is the spot right here that he's a bit faster than Carlos, as long as he can continue to put Carlos under pressure. That is, if Carlos gets to take the ideal line through there, he's probably not got the juice to do it. But if he can put Carlos under pressure down Kennel, and then sort of get him to compromise his line into Lacombe, which we've seen him do a few times, and get him sideways through there, he might be able to make the move down into 8. There's probably not too many other spots where he's got a lot more. As you said, Tom, he's pretty quick through this middle sector as Carlos.
Yep, absolutely. And just looking behind as well, Rob Underwood is a quarter of a second off the back of Mike Reel. So that's another little battle pack that's forming just behind these 3 Porsches. Pete Chalmers falling off the back a little bit now that I think Carlos has managed to do his own pace now, rather than having to fend off Brad Palmer every 3 corners. Callum with prediction in chat. Someone will get a drive-through in 9 minutes time.
Wow, that's very specific.
I love it. Bonus points, Callum, if you nail who.
I rate it. Let's have a crack at it. I like it. Speaking of something else that I like, Damien Turcolini is in chat. How about the pace that man has demonstrated this season? We were talking about it all night last night. Thurks has... Oh, hang on. Just let me call this, because, again, Palmer again is going to have to go around the outside. Now, has he got the balls this time, Tom? He must have heard you. He must have heard you on the last lap, because he absolutely had a crack at it that time. And Carlos giving him, again, a bit of a hip and shoulder, which has really hurt Brad's exit coming out of the final chicane. And this is going to let Warren have a really good show here out the turn 1. And these two getting a bit of rubbing as racing happening. I think Warren's going to get this done. Palmer has been pretty unfortunate a few times, and has now paid the price for not getting the move done on Johnson. And again, it's not any fault of Palmer's at all. He's had a couple of cracks at Carlos, but Carlos has defended really well, and that is going to be a definite ticket there for Palmer unless he's got way off throttle.
Yeah, and Pete Chalmers is now looking after Brad's had a rough couple of corners. He's not going to make the move now, but now that Brad's sort of off sync a little bit, hasn't got the rhythm anymore after having been bumped off a little bit, they'll be hoping that there's a couple more mistakes, and indeed doesn't quite get Lacombe correct, and He goes a bit wide on the exit as well, so that might be another speed ticket if he's not too careful. And I'll have Pete Chalmers licking his lips, absolutely. Callum with 3 quid on Sonicus. Wow.
That would have.
Championship defining drive-through.
Yeah, no, I don't see that happening. I like the ambitious call of someone will get a drive-through in 9 minutes, but if Pete gets a drive-through and he's the one who gets it, if he gets a drive-through at all, I will eat my sock on string because this man is way too consistent for that kind of crap. So that's not going to happen. Especially when he's fighting for a championship. Yeah, it's definitely not going to be Pete. One of the Porsches a good shout. One of the Ford probably a good shout as their tyres start to dissipate and disintegrate. You'll see one of them pick up a drive-through or two.
John saying make it 500 quid and I'm in. That is really love if you've ever seen it. Shady Samuel has got JP just starting to close that gap a little bit. And that'll be interesting to sort of think about that 5-second penalty here if he, knowing that, you know, they'll both have to pit. I don't think the Bentley can make it. The Ford definitely can't make it. If Shady gives him any kind of grief over making moves towards that second step of the podium, not just by virtue of a penalty.
We're surely not letting John participate in this bet because he's just going to go around and start throwing shit at Peach. We can't
the power to the house.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's not a drive-through though. No, he's just going to go put him off. Warren here now up to the back of Carlos, and he's going to have a crack at trying to get through the defensive brick wall that has been Carlos Johnson in the first half of this race. And just a little bit further now that Palmer's sort of dropped off the back. He's coming under a bit of pressure from Chalmers as well. So these battles in the midfield continue on. Nice run here from Warren. And so Carlos again, you'll assume, will choose the inside line. And
got a yellow flag at Eau Rouge again. That's Pete
78,
Chalmers, I think.
It is Pudley. Oh, I just said he was coming up to the back, and that's not a curse play on. I tell you what, Warren's done a pretty good job of this. Carlos, this time, might be having to give up this spot to Warren. Oh, he's just held it on, though. That's, again, really good stuff from Carlos, just knowing the limits of that Porsche and managing to keep it on the black stuff. Oh, no!
Oh, no.
Oh, that's an interesting one, because I think Carlos just washed out a little bit there. We'll have to see it again. But I think that was very innocuous but neither of them really did anything wrong. I think that was just a bit of ACC physics. And Carlos coming off worse for wear there.
Yeah, he's been playing with fire a little bit, wagging that tail as much as he has, and you know, hip and shouldering people. All's fair in love and war, but sometimes the ACC physics will just rotate you, as he's unfortunately experienced there. But he's managed to keep everything moving. We'll see how far back he's dropped. I don't think he's dropped back too far, so if his rear tyres are still okay, it was a pretty low speed, nothing kind of spin, then he'll probably just sort of get his head down and get back in and give Zach a bit more hell for turning him around.
Carlos and Pudley both coming the cropper in the same lap. That never happens.
No, never.
Bit of a sympathy spin, perhaps.
Sympathy, yeah. We'll wait to see if Pudley's was. We're going to get a replay here of Carlos, and yeah, he's gone a bit deep on the way into this really awkward downhill corner. Kept the engine running, and he's tucked in behind, I think, Rob Underwood, or just in front of Rob Underwood. So not a huge amount of time lost. We've got a yellow flag on the way into the bus stop chicane.
Speaking of Underwood, it is Underwood.
It's Underwood.
You just called it. Well, we're on fire here. We're having a good old time. But we've got the wand out tonight. What's happened there? That's a weird spot coming into.
Here we go.
There we go. This is your replay. So you're going to come around Blanchimont here and just loop it up. Yeah. Yeah. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Oh no.
Oh no. So that's an interesting one because that's not a rejoin. He's allowed to try and save himself. So I think that's just a little bit of a wrong place, wrong time type show. I'd be surprised if there's a penalty coming Underwood's way for that one, because surely he's allowed to. He almost had it going straight and narrow before that other car arrived on scene. And I wonder if the other one potentially could have, done more to avoid Underwood there. Whose fault was that? Or if it was just, as I said, no one's fault, but kind of just wrong place, wrong time. Interesting one.
Well, let our stewards, our volunteer stewards who do a fantastic job week in, week out, have a look. They've got the rule book to have a look through. as you said, I don't think Underwood didn't break any rules apart from not maintaining proper control of his car at all times. But he's going to be able to try and save the car, so we'll see what happens. And so we're back on here with Brad Palmer, who's on the back of Zach Warren, now no longer with Carl Johnson giving them grief. And we're starting to get to that point now where people might starting to think about a pit stop. Shady Samuel definitely dropping off the back of Lucas Keys. And we've got some comments saying there's some music on stream.
Oh yeah, nice. Bit of tunes. Why not? Benjamin Hingnet's got the tunes happening, and apparently that's coming through the stream. I rate it. Let it go. Let it go. It's
Yeah,
the
let it
last
rip.
stream of the season. Let's just play it on. No, you're not wrong. Shady's maybe made a mistake somewhere, or has just lost those forward tyres because P just closed right up to the back of him, and they're still both 3 seconds behind Lucas Keys. So the gap between Keys and Senecas has remained the same, but it is Samuel who's dropped back into the clutches.
Yeah, and those three at the front. A bit of a class field, but Ben Floyd currently circulating 8 seconds off at the back of the Bentley of JP Sonicus. Kind of doing his own thing. Rally here as well, circulating with about sort of a couple of seconds each side as well. A little bit of no man's land, which isn't really what you want for these kind of longer sprint races. Yep, absolutely, we've been demonetized now, so we can swear all we want. We're not costing anyone anything at the moment now, JC. It's all yours. Oh, that is very wide there from Brad Palmer.
Yeah, that'll be a ticket as well. It's not his first either, Brad. We've seen him go wide a couple of times at a few different places. And as you said, Tom, the first pit stop's starting to occur now. Brickley's in the pits. D. Wood is in the pits. There's probably going to be a few more over the next couple of minutes, and then most of the field within the next 10 minutes. I wouldn't expect too many cars to be going for the full strut. We were talking about Relahi before. He's currently sitting pretty in P5, and he's going to have a go at probably the no-tyre straight. Here's what happened with Underwood taking too much of that curb. Yeah, so that Porsche, for me, could be just a little bit more patient, and it seemed like it was full throttle. We didn't have the HUD there, but that seemed like the Porsche just didn't quite respect Underwood there enough to avoid that. I think both could have been a little bit better. Let's just put it that way. But as you said, volunteer stewards, they'll do a great job. They'll figure out what's happened there, and if there's anything to be sorted out, they'll do it in good time.
Absolutely. Zach Warren now with a little bit of breathing room, and while he's got some breathing room, we will shout out that OOR are running a trio series after the conclusion of the Sprint Series. That is GT2s, GT4s, and M2s all sharing the track at the same time. There's only room now for, I think there was 16 team spots of 3 cars left earlier today. I don't know if we've had a couple more registrations since, but if you're keen, you don't have to know who's driving what at this point. Just get 2 more mates. Surely everyone's got at least 2 mates they can call on and jump in and register for that, because that'll be an absolute ball of fun. That'll be on Wednesday nights through the month of October, and then after that, it's the big kahuna, the 24 hours of the Nordschleife, which is a bit of a jewel in the crown for Octane Online Racing. We're on board here with Mike Reel, following Scott Rochford, and looking forward to seeing every single person in chat and in this race running in the Trio Series and in the Nordschleife 24 hours later on in the year.
Yeah, that Trio Series is mad fun. I thought it had filled up, so I'm glad there is a few spots left, because, yeah, there you go. Glenn's saying in chat there is 3 spots left, so, yeah, do not delay, because that's... once that fills up, they can't expand it any further. They literally can't, because that's just that many cars on track. And as Tom said, 3 different classes all on track at the same time. And a couple of good little tracks that have been voted on too. Watkins Glen, I think, is one of them. We haven't been there for a while. So, yeah, that'll be an absolute ball, that Trio Series.
Looking forward to that. We'll be broadcasting as well. So if you can't race and you want to catch it on stream, there'll be a couple of people watching along and commentating it for your eyes and ears to enjoy. So we will look forward to that. Ben Floyd is the first of the front runners to jump into the pits. And I was just going to say that we obviously had some music before from Ben Hickney, our broadcaster. If anyone wants to bid, we can try and get Ben to play a song of choice at the end, I reckon. Because that's pretty funny and it's a good little way to raise some money. We're already demonetized, so anything is available.
Yeah, that's it. Fair game now.
We're a bad touch by the Bloodhead gang from Igor. That is a very good shout. All the kiddies are in bed now anyway, it doesn't matter.
Mine aren't. One's being a pain in the ass and is screaming the house down. The other one's having her birthday, so she's going to be up till however long. So it's just madhouse in this joint at the moment.
Happy birthday, Kira. What did she get for her birthday?
She got more than she bloody deserved, that's for sure.
Oi.
Goodness gracious, she got spoiled. But Mum said we're not going to get her anything this year. And then one day I turn around, she's wrapping presents on the floor, and I said, "Man, how much did you get? There's a whole fucking pile of them." Bloody spoilt little princess she is. Nah, she deserves it. She's a very, very good kid. We're going to go nuts next year when she hits the big 1-0, that's for sure.
Wee, double figures.
Yep. No, she's a very good call. Oh, here we go. 1,000 Thai baht from our man Johnson Eckes. That means you, sir, get to choose the song at the end, I assume, is what that's all about. There's a couple more. Baby Shark. What have we done? Someone's got to raise more than that. Come on.
1,000 Thai pesos gives Baby Shark, and there's 37 people watching. Another 1,000 Thai baht if Ben Hignett sings Baby Shark.
That's hilarious.
I'll rate that. Thanks for your support, John. It's always appreciated.
Enjoy your new algorithm, Ben. Ah, the pain. Plenty of cars in the pits now. Shady's jumped in there. He's going to serve that 5-second penalty that he had from the start of the race. That'll probably drop him back a few spots, and that has therefore put Peach into P2. And you would suggest is good enough for this championship lead. This man has been super duper strong all season long in this Bentley, which he has come to really enjoy. It's a bit of a love-hate relationship. There are a couple of tracks where it's been pretty difficult to wrestle pace out of, but if there's anyone who can do it, Jean-Pierre Senegas is that man. So as I said, currently in P2 and is likely to keep that with Shady having served that penalty. It's going to be enough to reward this man with yet another Octane Online Racing Sprint Series championship win. With 44 minutes to go. Oh, who's that out there? That's a Mercedes. Just taking an interesting line through there. And Peach kind of missed his brake marker too there, so I don't know whether he's just distracted by Gosling or what. But I tell you what, those shadows coming into the final bus stop later on, probably not yet, but in another 15 to 20 minutes, those shadows start to creep over and make the breaking point for that last bus stop very, very difficult.
Absolutely. We saw at every split we've seen people struggle with that last braking zone, one of the most critical braking zones on the calendar as well for that bus stop. I just want to go back to JP's consistency because across the season his scores for each round have been 151, 152, 133, 153, 87, 8 and 154. And he'll be very glad for that drop round for those 8 points, I reckon.
Yeah, and those 8 points beyond his control. That was the one where he got shafted and sent to the pit lane in, was it Hungary or wherever it was?
Hungary, yeah. That was a big shame.
Absolutely no fault of his own, and he still managed to fight halfway through the field until, obviously, it didn't kind of work out for him. But, as you said, very, very strong consistency.
We have a drive-through.
Yeah. I tell you what, it wasn't far away, 9 minutes. We said it was going to be close. That's a very good call. It wasn't Jean-Pierre, but it is a friend of Jean-Pierre's, so it's not far off. Callum, well played by you. I'm going to say that was around about 13 minutes, and it was a part of the Kovacs stable, so it's a very, very good effort from you. Although, saying it was someone from Kovacs in this split, you've got a bloody 50-50 chance, really.
Absolutely. Shady Samuel coming across the line to start another lap. We'll see where he comes out relative to Lucas Keys, who is in his pit box and he's moving, just coming out of the pits now in that sort of weird little inside bit of OOR. So that'll that gap's now found out to what it is. We've still got JP Sonicos miles out in the lead, but we're currently in a bit of a pit stop cycle, so that lead is not relevant. He's still 15 seconds ahead of Rally Heat. John, I'll give you 500 M&Ms. Your choice on the format of M&Ms. As long as they come in a bag that you can purchase at the supermarket.
I'll get Loopty to rap for you for 500 seconds.
You're going to give him a Chat GPT sponsored theme, though, right?
Of course. No. Obviously, he's not creative enough to do it himself.
Oh, Saxon going to stop, go 30 for speeding in pits. Just park
Ah,
it.
come on, Saxon. Goodness gracious.
Policeman speeding in a
Caught.
speed restricted area. Literally never happened.
Abuse of power. Not an ACC, my friend. Caught in
Brad Palmer's
4K.
gonna put one up the inside of Matty Asplin here. And that's a bit of an easier pass than he's had to try and make work. With all those battles with Carl Johnson, that is straight up the inside of Asplin and up into whatever 13th place means at the moment. I think it's going to be a bit better than that once pit stops come out of the wash.
Yeah, speaking of pit stops, that overtake there is brand new tyres versus Asplin, who hasn't pitted yet. So that's how that's gone so easily. So nothing to do with the base difference between the two drivers. It's just the difference in tyre where I would suggest Palmer... Well, you would expect Palmer to be on new tyres considering he's 50-50 the race. You'd be hard-pressed to find a driver who would 50-50 the race on fuel alone. So, yeah, Brad Palmer with the fresh rubber there, just walking past Asplin on the straight. Thank you very much. And Asplin's going to come under threat here from Viney and a few others as well.
What is that?
What is that? That is, he's done as you have requested. He's parked it and said, that is enough. I've made an absolute meal of this, and he's back in the pit lane.
And he's moving in the pit lane, so... Someone from Kovacs Race Control let us know what Saxon's doing, because it doesn't make sense. And it needs to stop. Carl Johnson, net P5 in the pits. Mike Reel is going to poke his nose up the inside of Asplin in that sort of second flat out, but not quite, but is flat out part of Stavolo. And this is going to be
careful.
BMW versus Lamborghini all out the straight. He's weaving a little bit. That's not the most ideal thing to do.
Yeah, just there's a few moves there from Matty as he came out of the... what is that? I've got a track map before on a bloody... Yeah, thank you, Stavolo. Yeah. As I said, he's just got to be careful he's not caught weaving, but I think coming into the pit lane now and getting into the way is the best result there.
No, Luke. He had a drive-through, and then he got a stop-go for speeding in the pit lane, and this drive-through was for track limits. I don't know if he's actually boxed for a required pit service yet.
Well, is that what's happened? He's got 50-50 fuel. He's gone into the pits, and he's forgot to untick the penalty. So then he served the penalty and run out of fuel.
Oh, no.
Is that potentially what's happened?
Oh, no. Come on, Saxon.
That's as race control rightly pointed out, that is one hell of a way to send out the Audis.
Get rid of it.
Making absolute balls of it.
Well, penalty points don't matter now anyway, so you may as well fill out your bingo card with every penalty you can get.
No, none of that. Yes, they do. They carry over to next season. Don't put that kind of thoughts into people's head. I don't know. They should though. You can't have them. Can't just get the gloves off for the last race.
There we go.
There he is.
Bang. Sucked in.
We've all done that. No.
Penalty points.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those
do carry over.
do carry over. Thank you, race control. And I would expect them to, because it'd just be silly if everyone got the gloves off for the last round, started turning it into dodgem cars, because we got a fresh start. Why not?
Combine all the splits free for all last round. Go.
Here we go. Peach is in the pits and is yet to jump off the jacks, but we don't expect him to have undercut Lucas Keys here, who's been in a league of his own up the front. He's going to come through turn one. Peach still... Oh, there he goes. He's off the jacks now, but with the overspeed that Lucas is going to have, he's going to tear on through. And I reckon he's going to have an additional second or so on Peach here. So I don't know whether one stuffed up the pit stop or whether one got it absolutely bang on. But Lucas Keys has gone from about a 3-second gap to what is probably going to be, what's that, maybe 4 or 5 now.
Yep, I think that overcut has worked very nicely for the young man in the Lexus at the lead of this race. He's still got that purple lap. I don't know if it's going to be a bit of a contest to see if someone can try and take that off him towards the end of the race, but he's currently running around on his own a little bit. There's a couple of cars in front that haven't pitted yet. Scott Rochford is up into P2. I think we were talking about Rally here as someone that might be able to sort of stretch out and do a really, really, really long stint and potentially just try and edge that car all the way to the end of the race. And if he can, he's got a mile of a lead that and a bit of fuel saving work to do, but we've got half an hour to find out.
Well, the other thing you could be doing is the splash and dash at the end, which saves a lot of time in the pits as well. If you don't change tyres and you just do the splash and dash on fuel, if Relahi's pace is not too bad, you can sort of make up anywhere between 15 or 25 seconds. Based on how much fuel you actually need to add. The BMW is pretty thirsty and doesn't have a huge fuel tank here at Spa, so he's probably going to be doing something like, if he does go in and only does a splash and dash without tyres, it's probably going to be something like a 13-second pit stop, which is a 17-second advantage over the guys who are changing tyres, such as Page and Lexus. So if he doesn't lose 17 seconds worth of race time by driving around slowly here, as he's been doing, he could well and truly at least put himself in between the two of them and make this battle towards the end, make this championship battle, just insert himself into the middle of it.
Absolutely. And John in chat saying that JP ran 3 laps longer, so might gun for fastest lap with a lighter fuel load. Lucas Keys puts the hammer down for a 17.4. We've got Carl Johnson again with Zach Warren climbing all over the back and Carl pulling off a bit of an overcut, or an undercut, don't know when Zach pitted, but managed to get past him again after his early unfortunate spin at Bruxelles, or whatever the hell it's called. So once again, he's not got any time to think about how he just wants to drive. He's got to worry about that blue Porsche all over the back of him, which is not close enough for a pass unless he's really, really brave for a move down the inside. And Carlos puts a bit of a pay to that by hogging the middle of the racetrack. Underwood is under wood.
That's very good.
Get it? That's good.
That's very good. If we had rewards for best contributors in chat, I reckon Callum would be right up there in Split Red this season. He's been very, very strong assisting us with puns and one-liners and information. Callum would be very close to my Chatter of the Year award. Well, at least the Split.
We need to find some kind of reward for the best gag in chat. Like, you know, moderator for 30 seconds or something like that.
Except there'd be some who we just literally could not grant that permission to. Surely. Very dangerous areas. Yeah, speaking of dangerous areas, this is Warren all over the back now. Carlos Johnson, who's been under this sort of pressure coming down the Kemmel Straight plenty of times already in the first hour of this race. And again, down the inside, he's going to defend. But Warren's got some nice run and some extra grip around. I reckon he's going to get this done much easier than Palmer did. But again, Carlos, look at that slip. Oh, it's too much. He's lost traction. And indeed, Warren does get it done. That's a great move. But again, Carlos defending very well there. That is good stuff between the two Porsches.
Very good. Nice clean racing all the way through Lake Coombe and down the hill. Both gave each other just enough width and just a little bit of a cushion just in case of weird Kunos physics. Wood here ahead of Underwood. This is going to keep going on for a little bit longer. Underwood probably the faster of these two, which is no disrespect to Wood, but we'll see how the GTR goes against this Porsche. Zach Jensen has come into the pits. That's the last probably car that's sort of still hanging out above that, around that sort of top character. Comes in for his pit stop with half an hour to go. We've got Ben Dyke here going around the outside of Pete Viney at Piff Paff. That is a spectacular move. Very, very nicely done from the Milo Kit Kat Lamborghini. Very, very nice done. Mitch Bendyke, and nicely raced Pete Viney as well, giving him enough room to do what he needed to do. We'll hop back here with Dean Wood and Rob Underwood though.
Well, he said that Underwood's potentially got the pace over Dean Wood, but I would just tend to disagree. Rob Underwood currently 60 odd points in front of Dean Wood in the championship, but Dean Wood has 3 zeros. I don't know whether that's because he hasn't turned up to races or he's been DNF'd or whatever. This is your replay of Ben Dyke getting the move done around the outside here of Pete Viney. Very nicely done. Smooth inputs. No sideways shenanigans and clean as you like. And in fact, there it is. Oh, no, sorry. It was Underwood trying to pass Wood, wasn't it? No, I was just talking about Wood having not that much of a speed difference, I would suggest, on Underwood. Maybe the Nissan and the Porsche having some speed differences. But if Dean Wood scored points at every round, he'd be right up there in the Pro-Am battle. He's very quick himself in this Porsche.
Absolutely, but Rob Underwood's got one hell of a run here. That GTR's acceleration has put him alongside even before we get to the bottom of the hill. Surely one of them backs out. That's not the ideal line there, Dean. And that battle is now done and dusted. And Rob Underwood will run away. Has that Milo Kit Kat been through a toddler first? That is extraordinarily rich coming from you. Extraordinarily rich. If only we had the time to put together a slideshow of all the John Sonic special liveries.
Yeah, no, I'm not going there.
Or the deliveries from the random people on Fiverr, like the Lucas Keys just slightly improves on his 2 minute 17 with a 2.7, and JP Sonicus takes that purple lap with a 2.17.3.
Trading
Good old
blows,
throwback.
those two.
Throwback
Scott
to
Rockford.
the
Scott Rockford P2, by the way. What's going on there?
hasn't pitted.
Pace alone.
Pace alone. We have a fairy in our ears in here in the commentary box saying that Rockford and Rally here both only have 22 litres left. That is nowhere near enough to make it to the end of the race without some extraordinary intervention. So they will need to pit. But as JC mentioned, not the full 30-second full service. Just a quick put some fluid in and get the hell on your way.
So keep an eye on that because Annie started P9 and then dropped down to sort of P13, P14 in those first couple of laps, obviously running that full tank. As was Relahi, we saw both of those cars sort of drop off, lose a few positions. So if he can net gain on that P9 that he started on, yeah, just a bit of science occurring this evening. We've seen the Mercedes go the full distance without pitting at all, so now we know that can happen. And yeah, lots of different strategies in this 90-minute no mandatory race. So you got your 50-50 split with tyres and plenty of drivers going for the no tyres splash dash. There's plenty of different strategies occurring. So some good formatting by Octane Online Racing and providing us all with some different sort of racing to participate and spectate in.
Absolutely. This gap between JP and Lucas, it's now in the 4s. It's now in the 3-second sort of margin. So Lucas, don't know if he's losing a bit of time or if JP is just in a bit of a groove and he's sort of driving in a bit faster at the moment, but that gap slowly creeping down between Lucas and JP. Shady is another 4 odd seconds off the back. So I think he's going to relax and settle for that P3. These two guys at the front just running around doing their own thing like it's nobody's business. But we'll wait and sort of see what sort of pit stop rally he does, because he is a long way ahead. I know it's a very, very long pit lane here. It's a 57-second time loss if you don't do anything. If you just do a drive through the pits. So he's got 34 seconds on Scott Rochford, and Scott has 30 odd seconds on Lucas. So that'll be tight, depending on how much fuel Rally has to take.
Yeah, just a bit of quick maths in the head suggests that he's going to be right amongst that battle. But yeah, if when he does come out, if he doesn't take tyres, he's going to get swallowed up very quickly. And then I think Lucas and Peach will still manage to drive away from him. I hope to be wrong, because the way it sits at the moment, Peach has got this one well and truly wrapped up. At least in terms of the championship, the race still up for grabs with Peach catching Lucas. But yeah, even if Relahi does come out in amongst it, he's going to drop right off the back pretty quickly with these old tyres on this BMW. But he's certainly giving them something to think about, and driving very smoothly too is Relahi. We haven't seen him get any sort of screen time at all, so no yellow flags, and not sure what his pace has been like, but his best is a 2:18.2, which is no slouch at all, and he's still doing 2:19.0. So the fact that that delta is only 8 tenths is suggesting that he is driving a very smooth, very clean, and very consistent race. So he's doing his best to make this strategy work.
Absolutely. And, Scott Rochford doing similar things, running around in P2. He'll drop back into probably, you know, the sort of around Carl Johnson, I would say, just based on what those gaps are. Lucas Keys making up about 2 or 3 seconds a lap on Scott, so obviously hasn't quite got the pace. You know, if he did manage to do a really short stop speed through the pit lane, somehow avoid a penalty, that wouldn't be a problem. But yeah, so I think, you know, these two guys are really sort of throwing a spanner in the works of people just settling in, knowing where they're going to finish, because if Scott comes out around that sort of that P10 area, Carl Johnson behind Brad Palmer by about 6 seconds, and behind Zach Warren as well. I know they were battling, so I think Carl's lost a few more seconds while he's been off screen for the first time in a little while. Lucas Keys doing 2:17.4s over and over again, trying to get that purple lap back, but just missing that final 10th.
Just want to point out how incredible that pace is too, by the way. This is a very hot temperature we've got going here. 27 ambient, 32 track is quite warm. So these are not your SRO meme temperatures. This is not your 215 type business. It is very, very, very warm out there. And the fact that he's in the low 17s, tickling the 16s is pretty nutty. We've seen a couple of qualifying laps get into the 16s as well. You got your Matt Lambs and your Paul Britts and a few others as well. So yeah, the quality of driver here and OOR just shining through with these temps. As I said, not really built for hot laps, but those guys still doing the 16s. It's just incredible.
Yep, and almost all of them are pretty happy to share their knowledge. Paul Britt ran a walkthrough in the Academy Series showing how he attacks a lap here at Spa-Francorchamps, and even the experienced campaigners usually tune in to listen because they usually learn something. So another big reason to get involved in OOR and learn from some of the best in the business. I want to go back to the liveries thing because we had the chocolate round this season for liveries. I'd like an idea for a themed livery round for next series because they always add a bit of interest and a bit of intrigue to the middle of the season when people come out with some pretty cool and pretty horrific liveries. So I'd like to hear some ideas. You know, we could go with the children's show, keep the Barney the Dinosaur theme.
I'd be getting a Wiggles livery out quick smart. And I mean old school OG Wiggles. You got your Greg and I don't mind the new Wiggles. Emma's probably as far as I'd go though. I think past that we're getting a little bit too woke, but Emma's nice, she's hot. But no, I'd be going with the OG Wiggles, that's for sure. Wouldn't mind seeing like a takeaway, fast food kind of.
Oh, Bing and Bong livery, yes.
Who the hell's Bing and Bong?
Oh, you need to be educated. It's fine. Google it.
Yeah, okay. All right. I know who Bing Bong is. Bing Bong's in Inside Out, and I assume that's not the same character. Bing and Bong seems like it's two characters. All right, I'll go and Google that. Yeah, we spoke about drinks last week. How we'd have the soft drinks and how Fanta is clearly superior to Sunkist. Race Control having a good old time here. But I'm going to have to go Google this.
Childhood memories for Ben here. We had a discussion at work about the superior baked cookie, and the melting moment / yo-yo was a clear favourite amongst the team.
Yep.
They are very hard to go past.
Yeah, that's a good one. And even just is that Carlos just diving off the racing line there? That's for position. That's Mike Reel going past. That's not lapped. That's not any reason for Carlos to have done that. What has happened there? That's for P10 too. P10 overall. Of course, as I said, we're still waiting for the Scott Rockford pit stop to shake out. But Carlos has got a problem here.
Has he lost force feedback or something?
Well, no, that can't be that because that wouldn't be a problem for him.
Well, he's been running force feedback recently, so it's you kind of have to adjust back. And as much as it's like riding a bike, he's still steering that car around like he normally does, kicking the tail out on the way through turn 1. And yeah, that's weird.
There's your pit stop for Elahi too, by the way, on camera 2.
We've got a yellow flag at Puon and a return to garage. So Elahi's going to come out of the pits. He's coming around the hairpin in the middle of the pit lane. Scott Rochford as well gives up. We'll follow Lucas Keys, see where he comes out relative to these guys. I think that was Pete Chalmers that was around at Puon and has RTG'd. So it was a good start to the race for Pete, but unfortunately he's not come to anything.
Yeah, this isn't going to be close. Lucas is going to be well in front. Here you go. Whoop.
Oh, no, that's not the line.
Tried to catch it. Took too much. Bonk. Out in the wall. That'll do. Yeah, disappointing. Had some really good pace early on, did Pudley. We said that he was inside the top 10 and in the later Pro-Am. hasn't shaken out over the 90 minutes. Ralahi is off the jacks and is running, but Lucas is already halfway up Uru, so he's going to be well clear of Ralahi, and of course Peach is not far behind, so I don't think he's going to be in the middle of this battle. In fact, there goes Peach there. So
But he's ahead of Shady, kind of, maybe. Shady's got a bit of a run here, but this is kind of close on pit exit. It's not a battle anymore, though. It's kind of worked. It's got him closer to Shady.
Well, has it kind of worked? He started P2, didn't he?
Yeah, but he was running around P5, P6 anyway. So
Yeah, but that's because of the strategy. We're saying the strategy worked. He's running around P5 because of the strategy, not because of any other reason. So if you don't run that strategy and you run half-half, then you probably got more pace in the first stint and you keep P2. I don't think it's the play, because I did exactly the same thing. I started from P3 and I did the Ralahi strategy and I ended up falling backwards as well. I just don't think it's worth it. You can make it work, but I just don't think it's worth it. If Ralahi can't make it work, then it's not the play.
I'll tell you who has made it work, though, is Scott Rochford's blown himself up into P7.
Yes, it does work. What a great strategy.
Never in doubt.
Never in doubt. Is that Warren 74 seconds behind him? That can't be right. No way.
No, that's...
No, he's not far behind. That's Warren there. He's only 2 corners behind. So it's worked for now, but with 20 minutes to go, Rockford's got to hang on to these tyres, and Warren's on brand new ones, and then he's got Palmer only 3 seconds behind him too. So considering that Annie started P9 overall, that is the watch. Can he hang on to P7 or P8 or P9 as Mike Reel's only 10 seconds behind as well?
He's a pretty experienced campaigner, is Scott, and he's one of the least aggressive drivers I know in terms of the way he pitches the car into corners and doesn't slide it around. He's always smooth with his input. So if anyone can whisper those tyres through, I'd back him in to be one of those. But we'll keep an eye over the next 20 minutes. Jake Carbon in chat with a sandwich theme.
How the hell do you do a sandwich themed livery? How are you going to separate yourself? What are you putting on your livery? Bread?
Like both doors are bread, and then the roof is your sandwich fillings.
Jeez. I mean, there's not different brands of sandwiches, so I think you're doing exactly as Tom suggested. You're putting bread on the doors, and then you're just sticking a bunch of liveries. What are we doing there? I'm happy for the ideas, but you got to work harder than that.
Is that Scott Rochford running very, very slowly indeed? So that's another Kovacs car coming to grief for not a whole lot of obvious reasons. He's gone wide at Stavilo.
The tyres have cooled down. So that's your old tyres having gone through a pit stop. That is hour and 10-minute old tyres having gone through the pit lane, cooled down, lost a bunch of pressure, and then they come back out and he's got to try and warm them up, and they're much, much worse than cold new tyres. Cold old tyres, that's for sure. And Annie just not able to keep it on track. So there goes your P7, that's for sure. Now coming under all sorts of pressure from Palmer, and as I said, probably Mike Reel as well as we come up to the last couple of laps of this race.
And Mitchell Bendyke as well is just hunting around behind Mike Reel as well. Callum about to make his car out of brie for the cheese theme.
I can smell that from here. JP's dog is having a birthday?
Oh, Zeus. If anyone hasn't seen a photo of Zeus, he's bigger than most people.
He's a horse, that dog. Genuine horse-shaped dog.
It's a cool
big,
dog. I like it.
very big boy. Yeah, we love Zeusy. So Kira and Zeus share a birthday. There you go.
Happy birthday, Kira and Zeus. Add that to the happy birthday for next year, I reckon.
Yep, good day to have a birthday. Palmer here has caught up to the back of Rockford very, very quickly, and on a fresh rubber, I reckon he's going to be brave enough to send it down here in a poo on the inside. And in fact, he is. And as I said, on that fresh rubber, he's going to have all the grip in the world and gets that done very comfortably. Scott Rockford making no fuss, not necessarily opening the door, but also not really pushing the envelope there, and understanding that he was probably out of his league on those old tyres. So just not costing himself any additional time. But as you said, very experienced campaigner and probably understands that his battle isn't with Palmer. He wants to try and maintain that 11-second gap to Reel and hang on to his original P9. So good driving from both there as they get that one done through Puon.
Absolutely. That gap at the front now, 6 and a bit seconds. I think JP has gone has worked out what the maths are, and that is what it is. He's got the purple lap. His tyres no longer quite as fresh as Mike Reel spits out a little bit wide at Stavelo 2. Don't know if he kept in track limits, but that's a pretty easy track limit warning if you're not paying too much attention, unless you are me at the Spa 24 at midnight.
Oh. Can't wait for that sort of stuff in the Nords 24 too, because the punishment's going to be so much worse.
Well, I mean, you know, the pit lane's not that long at the Nords, so I don't think it necessarily is worse. But there is the risk that if you get a drive-through and then keep stacking on some track cuts because you're getting a bit lazy and tired, that you turn that into a stop-go 30 or a DQ.
I guess I'm just more concerned about that time of night, and when you start to lose focus, the walls are much closer at Nordschleife, and the penalty for hitting those walls is quite a lot longer. Cause you're either trying to crawl 8.5 minutes back to the pit lane, or you are returning to garage, and so your time lost in that way maybe quite a lot longer than Spa.
Yeah, fair. Good point. Carry on. Mitch Bendyke still looking at the back of Mike Reel. 2 Lambos running. Got a lot of cars, so we've got 2 Fords in Floyd and Sweet. We've got 2 Porsches in Warren and Palmer. Scott Rochford in the lone McLaren in this split, which is kind of bizarre. You wouldn't have thought about that 2 seasons ago, but that's LFM bot for you. 2 Lambos, 2 Porsches, and Rob Underwood in the Nissan breaking up sort of 3 Porsches in a row. So a couple of cars running in pairs, which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, the Nissans aren't too far off either, which is interesting because Cricky started from the back, and that's a nice race from Cricky too, who has really separated himself from the AM class drivers. He's come from the back of the field and has been AM class all through his career and has just stepped up into Pro-Am, and that says to me that he's well and truly earned that Pro-Am badge, because having come from the back, he's had to have overtaken all of those AM class drivers and is now in front of all of them. So yeah, that says to me that he's definitely a Pro-Am. Is Mike Crick? He'll like that, I think.
Yeah, he's we've definitely seen him sort of, you know, running in places wouldn't normally expect. You know, he's had a couple of, you know, been 10 minutes of the race to go and been running in the top 10, and then it's one of those things about learning racecraft that, you know, you've got to be able to maintain that speed for the entire race and not let your focus drop. And unfortunately, we've seen that with Cricky, but it's good to see him, you know, keeping his nose clean and running the pace he can run and getting profit from that. So very good to see that improvement from the Valiant Knight. Give him a follow if you don't already on Twitch. He is an incredible artist as well. Oh, the invoice in the mail for that shout out as well.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right though. It was Suzuka where he was up in the top 10 and just made a bit of a brain fart late on and cost himself his first top 10. But then he came back the week later in Silverstone and got it done, top 10, and won Pro-Am on that event. So yeah, it's been a really good season from Cricky. And as you said, this is one of Octane Online Racing's most favourite men. Gives a lot back to this community and everything he does. So yeah, good to see him have a good season in his beloved Nissan. He registered in the Ferrari this season, by the way. He thought, you know what, I'm just going to ditch the Nissan and try and do some good laps in a different car. But then, yeah, I think he lasted maybe 10 practice laps in something other than the Nissan. He said, no, this isn't for me. And he very quickly went back to the Nissan. And I'm glad that he did because, yeah, he's found some excellent pace in that car this season and has had a bloody good year. And as Race Control rightly points out, he's our resident photographer and does a very good job of that too. So,
and resident videographer. So for the Nordschleife 24 hour, he's asking for a few replays of people racing close at the Nordschleife just to put together a bit of a promo for that event. So if anyone's keen to get their cars featured, and you know, if you are a livery designer, there's a fair few here that want to get their works in front of a couple of eyes. A very good opportunity to get something working like that. So jump in the endurance channel in OOR. He's put up an announcement and get your replays in for him to add to the footage as we gear up for that event at the end of November. That is Mike Reel making a meal of piff paff, and that's opened up the outside for Bendyke. Mike Reel walks him out to the edge of the track. Probably quite fair. I don't think Bendyke quite had enough to justify room all the way through, and there's not a lot of grip out there anyway. But we'll see these two cars run line astern up the back straight towards Blanchimont again. I don't think that's necessarily close enough to get a run into the bus stop, but you never know We'll see if Van Dijk gets a bit of a run on the way into the braking zone here at the bus stop with 11 minutes to go.
Does get a very nice slipstream. He is going to have a little look down the inside here and pulls it up, makes the apex. And Mike, oh, he's got the crisscross happening too. So Ben Dyke's got a little bit of extra pace in this Lambo with about 11 minutes to go. I don't know whether Mike Reel's just worn out his tyres a little bit too much, but Ben Dyke is all over the back of him here. He sent it from a long way back coming into the bus stop.
Yep, pulled that Lambo up, quick smart, and he's actually kind of wasting an opportunity there because Mike Reel was defending. He should have absolutely tried to optimise the exit out of La Source, but he's going to get a tow all the way up Camel Straight, and when you're going uphill, a tow is very, very handy. But that's a bit too far back to do too much damage with, you'd have to say. Callum asking in chat, what's worse, a DQ at the start of a 24-hour or at the end? Absolutely the end. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's, yep,
At the
agreed.
start, you can turn your computer off, go do something else, like spend time with your family. You probably don't know you exist after 24 hour. But at the end, there's wasted effort.
Yeah, I know which one I'd rather. There's an argument to say that maybe your teammates would prefer it at the end because at least they got to drive and they got to turn. If you get your teammates DQ'd at the start of the race before they even get to have a couple of laps, then maybe they'd be upset and they might consider it worse. But no, I'm standing with Tom on that one. If you do 22 hours of a 24-hour race and you get DQ'd at the end, that seems like a very wasted 22 hours to me.
And even if it's an accidental DQ, you still lose that lap you're on, and an Orch like that can be an 8-minute penalty, which is absolutely brutal. So Mike Reel again losing the rear through Piff Paff hasn't quite worked out as those tyres wear away in the latter stage of this race. What the best way? He didn't quite get it as badly as last time. But that's once again left Mitchell Van Dijk in the sister Lamborghini having a think about if he can force Mike into another mistake of Piff Paff. He's a bit further back than he was last lap, but we saw last lap as well. He's pretty brave and doesn't mind a bit of a send, so we'll see if he decides to do that once again.
Yes, there was Jay Carbon. Oh, just have a look at Ben Dyke here again into the bus stop. He's got a lot of overspeed as he comes through Blanchemont there. I don't know if he's running less wing or what, but he's very good in the slipstream, is Ben Dyke. So this battle isn't over as we go into the last 9 minutes of this race. But yes, you talk about Luke Whitehead, who did it solo in a 0TC Porsche, which it definitely goes down for me as one of the best drives I've ever seen from any driver in any sim for any reason whatsoever. I remember watching the last couple of hours of that one and just an incredible effort. And this is while the track had only just come out too. And I'm not sure whether I believe him, but he said that he hadn't done much driving on the Nordschleifer at all in any other sim. So he said he was kind of learning it as he went along, which, yeah, I'm not sure how much of that I believe, but Luke Whitehead is an incredible driver. So yeah, if you've, it's another one to go watch. We were saying watch the Ferrari and the Beyblade before. That's another one. If you go watch the last couple of hours of that stream, that's peak male form.
And a couple of high quality clips of his mum coming in with clutch with some snacks and wet towels and stuff in the middle of the night. Always nice when your parents support you in your endeavours, however weird they may be. We've got Ben Dyke here, still climbing all over the back of Mike Reel, and he's a bit closer than he was last lap. And if Mike Reel, again, has some issues at Piff Paff, that'll put Ben Dyke well in position to capitalise. He gets a better run through Puon. We'll see how these two gentlemen tackle the right-left combination of Piff Paff. And I think Mike's managed to sort it out this time. So no opportunity here, but we've still got a big, huge run after Stavelo all the way through to the bus stop.
Yeah, this seems to be where he's really closing in, is not necessarily out of Stavelo, but through Blanchemont and then up into the bus stop. He just seems to have so much overspeed. So I think he's running a little less lean. And once he gets into the slipstream, he hopefully doesn't catch him before they get to Blanchemont, because this is the worst spot to catch a car you're chasing, because you've got to get off throttle in a place that's supposed to be flat. It looks like he's got this timed pretty well. And he's going to make Mike Reel defend the inside. which means that he's going to have to go all the way around the outside. Mike Reel's got that car positioned absolutely perfectly. Couldn't have nailed that defensive move any better, Mike Reel. So hangs on for one more lap. But as I said, Ben Dyke has he's got a little bit of extra pace. So over the next, we've probably got 4 laps to go with 6.5 minutes left, and the lead is well and truly up on these guys. We've got 4 laps to go. Well spotted out by Race Control. Up there is the McLaren of Scott Rockford in P9. These guys were 11 seconds back, less than 3 laps ago, and now they've made up a quite a sizable chunk. So well spotted there by Benjamin Hignett in the clouds, keeping an eye on the things for us. Now getting 2 cameras happening as Underwood puts pressure on Viney into turn 1.
Absolutely. And Viney is P2 in the Pro-Ams. Scott Rochford obviously running P1, and Underwood's got a mega run out of La Source, and he's going to poke his nose up the inside of Eau Rouge, and you don't do that if you want to survive. And he's quite wisely backed out of it, and that's cost him a run down Kemmel. We'll see if the GDR's got the legs on the Porsche up that straight, but I don't think it's going to have that many legs. And Pete Viney's going to go through Lecoum without too much hustle from the timeout GTR behind. But Rob he's got some damage on the side of that car as well. That is absolutely a very second-hand GTR. So he's been in the wars a little bit. But that'll be 2 or 3 more laps for Pete Viney to worry about that bright blue Nissan and try and maintain that P2 in this Pro-Am race.
It's just a bit of side damage. It's just a scratch on the timeout. That's all right. No good. All play on. That's fine.
It's a brick. There's no error there anyway.
Mike Reel again getting piff-puff just suboptimally, and Ben Dyke not quite getting it right either, though. He had a nice line through there, but he certainly didn't close up as much as I thought he would when Mike Reel got sideways. So maybe just getting off throttle and timing his run. As we said before, you don't want to be right underneath another car as you come through Blanchimont. So maybe just getting off the throttle there a little bit, and now he's going to be flat through Blanchimont. I think he's a little too far back, but we've said that before already, and he's thrown it down the inside a few times from a long way back. It's not going to be on this occasion. But that's Scott Rockford there in that purple McLaren. They are really closing in on the purple Kovacs McLaren. So, as I said, with 3 laps to go, there's a good chance that this develops into a 3-way battle as we close out this race. And he's going to be hanging on to that P9 for dear life.
Absolutely. And the lead for the silver class, Zach Warren over Brad Palmer, is about 1.6 seconds. So that's not over. Zach will have to have a pretty clean last couple of laps to keep that one. We've got a lovely shot of the cars heading up that really, really steep hill at Eau Rouge. It's so much steeper than it looks in any TV shot. But I won't try and wax lyrical like the real F1 commentators do. We've got Pete Viney still ahead of Rob Underwood, and that gap between 2 front cars, Lucas Keys, now nearly 11 seconds ahead of JP Sonicus. I think JP's put a couple of Qs in the rack, and he's just going to wait the rest of this race out. He's still got 3 seconds over Shady, but he knows that there's bigger things than just the result of this race. He's got the result of this entire series to think about, and he's currently, if my maths are correct, got that wrapped up pretty nicely. That is close between the 2 Lambos coming out of no name.
Yeah, Ben Dyke's been faster through Pouon every single lap, and that's where he closes up on his way into Pouaf. Goodness gracious.
Can't say that word.
He's got him here as they go through Pouon. He got a really nice tight exit, and then into the first part of Pouaf. He's got it done. Nice work. That's been coming for a while. We've been watching this battle brew, and Ben Dyke in the very not pretend, Kit Kat chocolate arrow thing that he's got going on. Moves up into P10. Nice work.
Yep, and that will free, and he's been, as you said, he's been a bit faster than Mike, so I think Scotty Rochford would be hoping that those two would have a bit more of a ding-dong. There's a nice view of the professionally liveried Milo Kit Kat Technicolor Dreamcoat Lamborghini. I think that's the best way to describe it, isn't it?
I'm not sure how it identifies type livery.
That's very woke from you.
Oh, goodness. That's about as woke as I'm getting. All right. Come on, Annie. you've got 2 laps. Let's see what your defensive skills are like. He's got very, very old tyres on these McLaren. As we said before, he's gone with the splash dash. So all he's done is put petrol in that McLaren and has not changed tyres. Whereas Bendyke here, certainly not on completely fresh boots, but is going to have some extra grip. He's already demonstrated that as he passed Real, and now he's going to have to do it again. He's got 2 laps to close up to the back of Rockford and then to make a clean pass. Can he make that work?
Not this lap he can't, and just watching that time entry, Carl Johnson's dropped down to P16, now behind Mike Crick, so I really want to know what has caused him to drop so far off, because he was running up, you know, at that P7, P8 kind of around Zach Warren, Brad Palmer, so big shame to see him drop so far back from the lead of the silver class battle. Rob Rickley in the Bentley, we're going to replay here, and once again he's just pulled off and let another car through. Which is, if anyone's spoken to Carl Johnson, that is not his normal attitude. If anyone saw the way he raced for the first half of this race, that's not his normal attitude. So, very curious to find out what might have caused him to become very passive. And now, Mitch Bendyke is right on the back of Scott Rochford. Those worn tyres on the McLaren, crying enough. And Mitch Bendyke is going to seize up this second last run to Blanchimont. The next lap's the last lap for these guys. We'll see how many legs that Lamborghini's got in a straight line, because it's not known for being the fastest car, but he's got a very, very long tow all the way up here to Blanchimont. He's caught up to the McLaren a bit early, actually, and that means he'll kind of have to back out before Blanchimont, but he's got one more attempt, and we'll see if Scott decides to cover the inside. He absolutely does. Positions the car absolutely perfectly, and Bendyke is going to try and go around the outside of the first part of the bus stop. Scott Rochford doesn't get the second part done very well, and he's had to go off track, and that's going to let Mitch Bendyke roll on, unfortunately. And Scott's got the inside here to La Source, so this is going to be a 3-car battle down Camel Straight. Now, McLaren usually would have the legs on the Lambo, so we'll see. He's got enough traction to be running by himself down to Eau Rouge. This is going to be one hell of a battle down Camel for the last lap. Mike Reel backs off a little bit, but we're currently watching and seeing if Bendyke has the legs on the McLaren Scott Rochford. At the moment he doesn't, but he's going to have one more opportunity towards the end of this lap. We might while these guys go through the one at a time bit, Lucas Keys is going to come across the line and take a very well-deserved victory. Well done,
Nice
young man.
Very good. Oh, Annie wide. All of them a little bit wide there. They are fighting tooth and nail here on the last lap. Peach comes across the line too. That is your Split Red Championship winner, getting the job done this evening. The purple lap, and P2 is going to be enough to wrap up the championship. We'll give him his honours very shortly though, because here it is into Poohon again. Bendyke is going to have a go. This time it's going to be much more difficult because Annie is hanging on for dear life on these old tyres, but that's pretty wide, and Bendyke's got extra grip. So he is again going to get this one done with superior grip through Poohon, but Annie's not finished. The McLaren getting some nice drive, and he's just broken.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's interesting, because I reckon there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know whether Bendyke just didn't quite give him the room on the inside, or whether Annie drifted out wide, or a bit of both. But that has actually sent Bendyke behind Real, and now Real's going to get a chance to have a go at Annie. Annie is hanging on tooth and nail here as they come through Stavelot for the final time.
Yeah, that Lambo's got way better tyres. You saw the way that it just eased up on the back of that McLaren. But and Mike's actually got the inside for the bus stop. If you can make it go side by side with Scott all the way through Blanchimont, it's usually pretty tough, and he's actually managed to work his way past him. Very nicely done.
Yeah.
So and Mitchell Bendyke here is going to have a think about a move down the inside of Annie. He's had to go a little bit wide.
And he's not
Mike
done
Reel.
yet.
Oh no!
Oh no! Ah, no. That's just about ended the way it should have, though. It was a good battle between the three of them. They tried to keep it polite and respectful, and Mike Reel coming out on top of that is the way that should have ended, because he was the superior of the three. Got the job done. Nice work. Good battle there at the end, Split Red.
Absolutely. Rob Underwood is going to come ahead. He's managed to get... sorry, that's Brad Gosling. Rob Underwood has managed to get past Pete Viney for P12. That is P2 of the Pro-Am. Pete Varney, P3. And Dale Wood, P4. And here is Mike Crick coming across the line for P15. Rob Brickley has gotten ahead of Carl Johnson. We've got Lucas Keys doing some absolutely pathetic donuts on the downhill. Carl Johnson, TC0, comes across the line ahead of Zach Jensen just. And that is the end of Season 18 of Octane Online Racing's Simrigs Sprint Series. That was a pretty interesting race to watch.
Yep. Yeah, it was pretty good. Good way to finish it. There is your championship winner, ladies and gentlemen. 44, Jean-Pierre Senekis in the Jean-Pierre Special Bentley is your split red champion once again. I don't even know how many that is now, but I'd be surprised if you can count them on one hand because he's won them time and time again. Tonight, though, Lucas Keys was your winner, 11 seconds clear of our man Jean-Pierre Senekis, and Shady Samuel with a pretty good result as well in P3, the silver
Lucas
class.
didn't have flop.
Is that normal? What's it supposed to have?
Minus 14 or something like that. So that's an impressive effort.
That is a very impressive. Carry some extra weight. That's very nice work from Lucas Keys. Maybe he needs some success ballast is what he needs. Bloody Zach Warren's done bloody well for the Porsche team. There's 3 of them there in the silver class. He's the winner of that. Brad Palmer P2 and Mike Reel at the end there manages to pinch P3 from Bendo. And Scott Rockford hanging on for dear life in the overall run, but with a strat that was different from everybody else's. He's got the Pro-Am victory under his belt tonight with Underwood P2 and Viney P3. And then over in the AM class, Brickley with a very strong performance, 5 seconds clear of Biggie Hugs, Zach Jensen. And John Hislop with a little penalty early on is going to get the P3 in AM class. Mike Reel with the very well-known broadcast camera donuts to end us, Tom.
Absolutely. Thank you, chat. Thank you, JC, for commentating alongside. It was an absolute cracker of a season. Well done, JP. Thank you, stewards. Thank you, our cameraman, Benjamin Hignett. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you Split Red. It was an absolute treat. So thank you, everyone. We will see you all next season.